All right. Library. News. Where's the live streams? Hi guys, hang on. Just getting things set up. I know nobody's here now, but stream number 7. Where is this? Home. Library. Videos. Why is this not showing up? Let's go to our channel. Probably be easier than my videos. Aha! There we are. Seriously, I'm getting a commercial on my own live stream. Blah, 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 blah. Skip it. There we go. Excellent. Quality. No, let's get it to a decent quality where I can actually see what the hell's going on. Hey, there we go. Now I'm not a blocky 8-bit anymore. Hello, random person, whoever you are. Let's turn the volume down. Morning. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see if we can stop that from autofocusing. As I recall, the last time that we did this, it didn't work that great. No. Those were the filters. I think I gave up in frustration on this last time. I'm not sure. Please quit autofocusing. And we don't want to go there either. Hello, Bugbean. Hello, random person. It's good to see you again. Been hiding lately, or at least just busy. It's all right. Man, I really wish that I could make that not autofocus. And I don't know how. It's irritating. Maybe if we move it a little closer. Get a little closer. Don't be shy. Dating myself again. Which is illegal in the state where we currently reside. All right, so let's see. We have Bugbean so far, and 2 other people who have chosen to lurk. Or not comment yet. So we'll just randomly chat until folks show up. So, I'm just going to kill these now because I always end up taking them off anyway, so now you can see my eyes. Look into my eyes. Let's see. Bugbean wants to know, how are we? Okay, for the most part. It's been some things. Just hang on, let me adjust this. Normally I like to have all this stuff done, but you know how it is. Actually I need to check my usages here. Okay, good. How are we? Well, just as a heads up, we're wearing red today because that's Bootstrap's color, and given everything that's been going on with our surroundings lately, he may just choose to show up, but we're not entirely sure, but it's, colors and stuff. So, I know I'm futzing with the camera. There, am I tilty? Am I sideways? My phone keeps telling me I'm tilty, but the eyes say otherwise. And one of these days, we'll get an actual camera and an actual space to do this in, where we don't have to futz with everything and we can set up. So, let's see. Hello, Roses. There you are. Thank you for coming on and being a mod and watching, even though you're dead tired right now. So, Back to Bugbean's question. How are we? We're a little stressed. You're registered to the shelf. Yeah, well, we try to actually use those as our leveling things, and because, believe it or not, they are perfectly level. No, no, you are not going to lay down in the middle of our lawn. You are going to lay down there, aren't you? That's to put the clean clothes on. You don't care, do you? All right. Um, so, we're a little stressed. Trying to think of the best way. Yeah, I know. That's why I told you. Okay, yeah. Also, cat's gonna cat. Yeah, cat is going to cat. No, over here. Look at the audience. There we go. Look at your adoring fans. Over here, watch the birdie. Watch the, yeah, you're a cat. There we go. You're not going to cooperate, are you? All right, enough handsome cat hour. Boop. So let's see. Yeah, cheese. That is Colby cheese. For those of you who are just joining us and are not aware, hello. We got 5 people now. He thinks he's the best cat in the world. Just ask him. He'll tell you anytime. Especially at like 5 in the morning when he decides to, with one claw. Not fun. Kind of annoying. But we love him anyway. Don't we? Yes, we do. So, yeah, little stressed. Those of you... hey, Maldwin, welcome. We were just looking at one of your comments the other day and going, where has Maldwin been? We haven't seen them in a while, so we're glad that you stopped in. Either that or you were reading our mind. Ooh. But we're glad to see you. So, yeah, suppose I should stop beating around the bush and just get to it. Some of you guys are the ones that were there might remember our impromptu Is This Pride live stream? Not pride as in like LGBTQ, but pride as in the emotion. About 3 or 4 months ago, we think, time. Wibbly wobbly and stuff like that. This is the same son who graduated high school. Well, here's the deal. Okay, we'll just move in for a penny, in for a pound. So, basically the day after, thinking of you too. Thank you, Mulder. Essentially, the day after, or 2 days after that live stream, we woke up to find him gone. As in, moved out. As in, moved out of the house. As in, assembled all of his stuff and left the house without even bothering to wake us up to say goodbye, or even let us know that he was leaving. He had just packed all of his stuff off and went to live with our first wife's mother, his grandmother, maternal grandmother, who, let's just say that we have profound differences in theological and political thought, and we're being nice, okay? But she's essentially a card-carrying member of the evangelical right, and don't get us wrong. Okay, any of you who are out there, we respect your beliefs. We don't get into politics here on the show at all, or religion. We may touch on it briefly, but we believe that everybody should believe what they want to believe, but also by the same token, not shove it down the throat of everybody else. Okay, different strokes, different folks. Melting pot and all that. So unfortunately, she's very rabid in her beliefs and has a very narrow mindset of what uh, people, and especially men, should be. And our personality never really jibed with her. And of course, this was before that we ever knew. So anyway, basically, she gives in material goods what she lacks in emotional support and awareness. Again, we're kind of dancing around being blunt here. The gist of it is that after our first wife died, she just basically cut us off, cut the family off, and me two kids. She actually, literally, my wife had one life insurance policy, and her mother decided to take half of it because it was in. It was a legal thing anyway. She was the one that it's complicated, but that was basically a real kick in the teeth. Right when our feeling was that she was taking food directly out of my children's mouths, and it was for religious and political reasons, and that just didn't jive with us. So, but at the same token, after a deep affront, one holiday, shortly thereafter in March, we went through a great deal of preparations, and this was actually after we had remarried, because we remarried about 8-9 months after our first wife passed. Maybe a little quick, but it's, as we've expressed before, we found another person. We got lucky to find true love, and of course, only an idiot would not take that. But and as a result of that, our current wife, she has been extraordinarily patient. You want to talk about playing a long game? She knew that we would have to get through our grief and everything, and that's a whole other ball of personal wax. But needless to say, we cut off contacts with that grandmother. We had actually already cut off contacts with the kid's other grandmother, the body's egg donor, for obvious reasons. Although actually we didn't know about her being a system or the abuse at the time. There was emotional abuse and other things going on. She was just a very toxic person, and we didn't want her around our kids. So we made the decision to cut her out of our life. Wise decision, because then we found out about all the trauma. Yeah. So, about 2-3 days after that stream where we're saying we were proud of him for graduating, he ups and it turns out he had been communicating with the said grandmother the entire time, which we never stopped. We told the kids, we are not going to prohibit you from having a relationship with your grandmother, or, we would advise you strongly against our mother, but the grandmother, we're not going to stand in the way. You want to call her, that's fine. You want to talk to her, that's fine. You want to go over there, that's fine. But she's not coming over here stepping foot on our land, and we don't want anything to do with her. But we made it very clear that they could pursue a relationship at any point in time. So apparently, our son, who had just recently graduated, had been chatting with her on Facebook or something and telling her all his woes and everything else. And of course, she's the type who is, oh, well, just come over to me, and what she'll do is she'll provide everything that he could possibly want materially, but in return, he has to become a good little like-minded, politically and religiously minded little soldier marching off to war. We raised our kids to believe with an open mind. We've never tried to push any one particular one. My wife and I, we tried to give them a good grounding in the Judeo-Christian traditions, just simply because it's so prevalent, but we also expose them to other religions and other ways of thought and other philosophies throughout the course of time. Data and Percival's influence there, obviously. So they were chatting anyway. I know I'm making this a long, drawn-out story, but I have to dance around certain issues, and we're trying very hard to be polite on this. And not go overboard and bring out bootstraps with red. So, anyway, we woke up, he was gone, had all his stuff, and didn't even bother to wake us up. So it's like a big read between the lines to you, Dad. Yeah, here's the thing. Our son is on the autism spectrum. He needs to be in therapy and on medication, and he was. But he has fought it every step of the way. And as you know, if you're a parent, you can't force your children to do anything, or they're just going to dig their heels in more deeply. Well, by the time that he flew out the door, that was basically kind of the last straw for me. I mean, it's like that's a serious stab in the back to a dad. Could have at least woke me up, son, but you didn't bother to tell me that you're moving out, or you didn't bother to say goodbye. Well, 2 days later, we get a call, or I get a text from him saying, because we'd warned him beforehand what she would do and how she would act and what she would expect from him. And he sends us a text back saying, "You were right, I'm sorry, but can you come pick me up because she won't drive me back?" It's like, So we get over there, and the wife is with us. Fortunately, the current wife, and to act as a buffer between her and I, because said grandmother and I have gotten into some very heated arguments, some of which were actually due to our trauma in the background, but that's off another sidetrack. Things that you look back on later and realize it was influencing your behavior, but there's still nothing that you can do about it, but at least you know why now. So we get there only to discover, well, his stuff is all out there, and apparently she had been on him about taking, because we told his counselor and his case manager and everything, okay, he's 18 now, he's moved out, he's now responsible for that, here's his contact information, thank you very much, kind of don't bug us about it anymore because he's not living with us. He's decided to be a big boy adult now, so that's now his problem, particularly if he's not living in our house anymore. So anyway, turns out that she had been writing his, excuse any profanity that may come out here, or she'd been writing his ass about taking his meds and whatnot, which he wasn't doing. And apparently they got into a confrontation where he stood up and he knocked her to the ground. As in, I don't think hit, but the way he described it was trying to shove past her. And having witnessed his temper and exactly the way that he reacts many times throughout the course of his life, I can believe that he didn't deliberately try to hit her, but the fact is, you never lay a hand on a woman. Ever. In anger or not. And that's one of the hard and fast rules that we raised him with, because our grandfather, who was responsible for much of our still being here and, somewhat, our moral character, as it were, he taught us several things. Never lie. Always tell the truth. Never ever hit a woman. Even if you're provoked. There is absolutely no excuse. And keep your word. Your word is your bond. Go back to number one. Tell the truth. So those were based, and there were a few other rules that he gave us that we have come to appreciate the wisdom of over the course of time. So for some inexplicable reason, she did not call the cops and press assault charges. But, she was out there. We just drove up because we're on the way over, and Bootstraps is pretty well fully fronted at that point. When we get pissed, he comes out. Or he is us getting pissed. It's tough to unscramble. So he was talking with her wife, and we were like, we're just going to keep our mouths shut. We are not going to say anything, because if we open our mouths around her, this is just let's avert this disaster. Okay, so you just deal with things, and we'll just load his crap into the car as quickly as possible. Which is what happened. But as we got there and we got out, she looks over and she's like, I tried, and we had to bite our tongue not to say, well, we never asked you to, did we? So anyway, yeah. She should have called the cops. This is what I'm about to say now is gonna sound harsh, okay, but this has been a cascading problem. Nothing that we can do gets through to our son. Nothing. We have tried. He has like I said, he's on the spectrum. He was on meds. He was in therapy. He was improving. When he's on his meds, he's great. When he's not, but overall, the nuts and bolts of it is our son is a classic narcissist who is only interested in himself, what he can get for himself, and what he can get out of others. He has poor basic hygiene, and this is not from from a failure to teach him any or to teach him these things. It's just simply he's a teenage boy, and no offense to any teenage boys who may be watching right now, but y'all stink way worse than you have any idea, and regular bathing needs to be a thing with soap and shampoo and all that, and getting into the shower for 5 minutes, letting the water run over you, and then toweling yourself off, and your hair isn't even dry when you come out, and we're going, get your ass back in there with soap and wash yourself properly. There's also the fact that they don't want to clean their clothes, or they don't want to, wash their bed sheets, or wear different clothes, clean clothes, after wearing the same thing several days in a row. So this stench begins to emanate from their rooms, and we can't deal with it because body odor is one of our major triggers. So it's been, and the room is just filthy. He just, no matter how much, and we have tried everything. We've tried begging, we've tried pleading, we've tried gentle psychology, we've tried being understanding, we've tried offering to help, we've tried being angry, we've tried being furious, we've tried everything. And the only thing that we have at our disposal right now is the internet. But I'm jumping ahead of myself, or ourselves. So, and yeah, I know, guys, I haven't gotten any comments, but this is a bit of a long story, and we are nearing the end of it. So, after we bring him back home, a contrite son, an apologetic son, before we had went over to pick him up, wife and I and daughter had sat down and said, okay, we're the family, we're in the house now, he left. What expectations and what boundaries do we want to set before we let him back in? And we sat down and we wrote about a 13, 14 point list of things that he needed to do, including basic hygiene, helping out around the house, just things like that. Not swearing at the top of his lungs when he's playing a video game, or, just other things. Simple things. Things that you would expect from any decently behaved person. Since the time that he's come back, he's followed none of them. He has broken them all, and we have already had several confrontations about this. The wife and I are now requesting $200 a month in rent, which, as all of you know out there, is paltry for a room, food, utilities, and internet. Which is the only thing that I can cut off in order to penalize the behavior. Because otherwise, but he has not been doing this. Now, we'll throw in the last factor. After he did get back, one of the conditions on said list was to find a job. Because just for many, many reasons. Self-esteem being a big one. And he did. He got a job at the local Walmart. And we're like, okay, yay, good. The trouble is that all of those bad patterns and all the things, one of our other sons works at her eldest works at the same Walmart. And he is a sterling employee. He has a spotless reputation. He got promoted very rapidly, and he's very good at what he does, and he's very dedicated about it. He goes in, he follows the axiom, if you're not early, you're late. I mean, he's a really good guy. I have to give him praise for that. And he does contribute to the household, monetarily, and he'll buy, like pizza 2 or 3 times a month, which is, as anybody who's bought pizza for a family of like 6 knows, that's like virtually $100 minimum right there. So we definitely appreciate all that. The trouble, hang on just 1 second. I'll be right back. Making sure of you. We're streaming, so it's okay. You don't have to worry about being quiet or anything. I just wanted to make sure it was you. So.
I'm just eating ice.
You're eating ice again?
Well, it's because I'm getting ice in the cup, so I'm getting like the.
So the ice goes from, instead of your hand into the cup, it goes from your hand to your mouth, and.
No, the ice chips go into my mouth.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, carry on. So yeah, we hadn't seen our daughter yet today, so we wanted to say hi. Um, where were we? Oh yes, that's right. Outing our son's behavior over the internet because we're pissed. So he got a job at the Walmart, and her son is a Sterling employee. Well, the trouble is that he's not taking it seriously. Our son, he has been late virtually every day. He has no called, no showed at least once. He's called in sick, and keep in mind he's still less than 90 days out. He's still within his 90-day period. I think he's just over the 30-day and going into the 60. How they have not fired him is beyond us. Seriously, I do not know how. In the process, he has contributed nothing to the house. He has bought every single entertainment system out there, Xbox, whatever the latest iteration is, PS4, 5. He's bought himself 2 new computers, new TV, all of this without any contribution, and he's been breaking all the damn rules. Basically, what this has done is this has forced us into a situation where the only thing that I have in order to try to enforce these is the internet. Or, to just basically let it go, which we're not going to do. We are not going to tolerate this behavior with him in the house anymore, because for the system's mental health, we can't deal with this, as well as for everybody else's mental health here in the house as well. But on the same token, you don't want to throw your son out on the street. We have been monitoring his medications. He has not taken them, any of them at all, because they were last filled in April at a grocery store that is a bit of a distance from where we're at now, and he hasn't taken any of them. We've maintained a weekly pill count where we've actually went in and counted the meds. He has repeatedly said, "Oh yeah, I'm taking my meds." He lies. I wouldn't believe a word he said if he said that the sky was blue. At this point, I don't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. And this deeply hurts us, not only as a father, because you're going, what the hell did I do wrong? Where was the turning point here that he just didn't get it? That these things weren't just not passed on? And we can point back to things like said grandmother that he went to live with, showering with gifts, and just presenting a double standard that it's just what little accountability that, or rather what great accountability that any accountability that we tried to get him to undertake, the lesson didn't stick. It has not stick, and we have just ran up against a wall. So basically we're at this point where we can't live with him in the house. We have looked for halfway houses and assisted living homes. The trouble is that most of them are all for addicts and recovering drug addicts or alcoholics. The one thing that we can say is he's never developed a drug or alcohol problem. In fact, he's kind of like a teetotaler. He's like, not at all whatsoever. So it's like, yay, one small thing. So at least there's that, but it also makes it more difficult to find him a place to go. So the resources are kind of limited. At this point, we don't even know if he still has a case open at the local therapy place or not. So basically, I'm more than likely going to be calling this coming week after the weekend to see, number one, if his case is still open, number two, if we can talk to his case manager and express our concerns and see if he has any resources for us to help solve the situation. Because basically he burned his bridges with grandma. We would not recommend our egg donor to our worst enemy, although a certain portion of us goes, oh boy, wouldn't they just pair well together? Sorry, forget we said that. Like I said, red bootstraps, kind of close. So we've been trying desperately to come up with some kind of a solution to this, and unfortunately Bootstraps does not take kindly to this. And basically he's supposed to be there at 3 o'clock, and he has not been leaving the house until like 2:45 to 3 o'clock to 3:30. It's like I said, no call. How he is still employed is beyond us, but we have watched this with increasing irritation because he's throwing his life down the drain. Because I mean, I'm sorry, if you get fired from Walmart, yeah. So those are basically our options: is throw him out on the street, which we're not going to do. But of course, he knows this, and he's using it like a narcissist will use everything as a control measure. Everything is a control measure, and he gaslights like a yeah. So, and unfortunately, it's taken us a while to realize just exactly what he is. And I'm not saying that we don't love him, we just don't like him. You can love people, your family, but not like them or want to be around them. So, the lesser of the two weevils is calling his case manager and seeing what's up, sitting down again with him and going over it again with him, which is not going to work. Or we actually came up with a third possibility yesterday, which might just work. We have it's bigger than a pop-up camper, but it's not quite a full-sized RV that we had bought to go cross-state to see wife's parents for Christmas a couple of years ago. And it's like those of you who have actually ever owned anything that large, it just kind of sits there except when you're using it. And using it is not all that frequent, but it is livable. It has a stove, a fridge, toilet, not like fancy schmancy RV things. It's from the early 90s, but we went through and restored it and did wood paneling and everything, so it's there. We would have to add an air conditioner to it and plug it into the household utilities and run an internet line. But these are doable things, and we haven't approached wife with this possibility yet, but we got to thinking, and somebody kicked up the idea, I think it was Data, of, hey, there's an option here that we haven't been considering. So while it may require some work on our part to set up the situation, it may be better to actually have him out of the house in a space that is nominally his own. We can charge him the rent for it, and this will also take the food off of our back because he will have the ability to eat his own food. And since he has started working, the amount of food consumption in the house has went down drastically because he eats like there's no tomorrow. And it's just little things like he will go blow through a package of lunch meat, but leave one slice left in the package and just leave it there. It's like, is this your way of being thoughtful? Is this your way of being considerate? Do you not understand that it's just utterly insulting to just leave one there, and would be less insulting if you just took the damn thing? So, yeah, you guys want to know what it's like being the system and being a parent? So, that's the solution that we've kind of come up with, which I think might be the best alternative, short of, hopefully this won't happen, knock on wood, he decides to get into a shouting match or something and starts to get abusive, because at that point, anyway, so how have we been? That's how we've been, in addition to dealing with some really bad flashbacks and sleep issues, which we always have, but these are real bad because right before a new trauma bubble starts to burst and a new flashback comes forward, we generally get these, and we've been getting them lately, so we don't know exactly what's lurking in the darkness as it was getting ready to poke its ugly head out. Actually, we've gotten a few partials on this, and it's more of John's trauma from when he was broken, and it's really ugly. It's really ugly, and really bad. So we're trying to work our way through that, and stay stable and whatnot at this point. So that's basically where we've been at, and of course trying to the latest episode with the time and DID, that actually took a lot out of us, because there was, for whatever reason, we still can't figure out why, there was a lot of passive resistance to getting that done, and getting everybody in line to do it, so data included. So we're not entirely sure what was going on there. Ended up being far shorter than we actually originally planned on. We got done and we were figuring it was going to be another one of our 40-minute long episodes, but somehow we managed to abbreviate it down to 13. Of course, we really thinned out the points that Data had jotted down, because some of this was just way off there. I mean, not, made up, but just complicated. Because if anybody of you have actually looked at the references that we post in the description, you know that he's just not, he literally can read this doctorate level crap and make sense of it, which the rest of us could. Anyway. So yeah, that's how we've been. Glad you asked, Bugbean. So we're gonna go to the comments now. 11 of you, hello everybody, and we're gonna catch up. And how long have we been ranting? Almost a half an hour. All right. So now that we're done with that, what do you say we get to your comments and say hello and see who's out there? So yeah. Anyway. Okay, here. What are you doing? Okay, the shelf, meow, Maldwin, well, yeah, toxic family is always difficult, yes it is. Oh, it's all good. Maddie Sim, you retracted your message. Maddie Sim, it's okay if you say anything you want. Seriously, okay? This is an open environment. Drop your comments if you ask what you want, or we're not going to jump down your throat. And here we go. Every live stream, welcome to the live stream, welcome to the channel. If you're new and you haven't heard our rules before, here they are in a nutshell. Those of you who are longtime viewers, say them with me now. You have the right to your opinion. You have the right to express your opinion. You do not have the right to abuse other people with your opinion. Do not start shit, do not troll us, and don't just generally be a dick. Because if you do, we will ban you. We have mods with big ban hammers, and we'll do it ourselves. So, with those caveats in mind, ask whatever you want. If we're uncomfortable with a question or a subject, we'll tell you straight up. So yeah, unlike other streams, we actually welcome discourse amongst you guys. This is basically the classical Greek idea of a forum where everybody comes together and shares their viewpoints and their thoughts with everyone else, because each of us holds a piece to the overall DID puzzle. And by helping each other, we're helping each other, and we're spreading that knowledge around rather than it just staying in, little pocket areas. So those are the rules. So ask whatever you want. If you're not comfortable, obviously don't. But Maddie Sim, we are interested in what you have to say. So feel free. Don't be afraid. Will's mom, hello. Happy to hear the stream this month. It's football season, but my team doesn't play until later. No, we're not a sports guy. We're like one of those rare guys who just doesn't. We don't get it. The kind of sports that we would like to watch don't show up until like the winter or the summer Olympics, But you go for it. Go team, yay. So good to see you though, because we have been worried about you because you haven't been around a lot lately. And normally you're one of our people who, comment fairly frequently. So we have literally been going, where is Will's mom? Wonder if she's okay. We do worry about you guys. Believe it or not, this is not just fan service. So we're glad that you're okay, yes. Maldwin is trying not to swear, yeah. YouTubers from Denmark. Hello, YouTubers from Denmark. Haven't heard of you before. Welcome to the channel. Hi, welcome. We're glad you're here. Let's see who else we have. Let's see. Starting nuts. Okay, Maldwin. Sorry, didn't mean to trigger you out. Yeah, cup of tea. Okay, yeah, YouTubers from Denmark. Thank you guys for support. We get it. It's very frustrating, and we've been dealing with it, and it's really tough. And particularly as a parent, because you're going, what did I do wrong? You're constantly second-guessing yourself, and of course, with all the trauma and being DID, you can fall right into that guilt, blame, shame spiral on anything. So we've been, it's fighting the situation, fighting this, and then fighting your reaction to it. And it's like, walking a high wire over a pit of sharks, you know, it's just, yeah. So, okay. Let's see. Maldwin is back with tea. Good. We've got ours right here. Constant comment today. We're out of Earl Grey and Percival's pissed, but we haven't been to the store yet. So he'll deal. So let's see here. Who have we got? Rose's Flex's hammer. Yes, and she will ban. So don't piss them off. 5 pieces of 9. Hello, Cloud. Or partly cloudy. Hello, all of you. It's good to see you. Particularly after your last video on your channel. Yes, we do watch your videos. We may not comment on them all the time, but we do watch them, and we keep tabs on you and your progress. We're very proud of you. Do you remember when you first started the channel and you were like, oh, you know, it's like nobody's going to watch, we're not getting any viewers, and we told you to concentrate on the message. Don't worry about the viewers or how it spreads, but just get your story and your voice out here. Look at your sub count now. You've hit the 100 mark. We started exactly the same way. Don't underestimate the power of your message and your thoughts and your perspective. So we are very proud of you, your whole system, for getting out there and doing that, okay? So keep at it. We know it's a slog sometimes. Doing this is not always easy for us. Getting everybody in line. And we know you're a complex system just like us. So kudos, recognition, heartfelt. We're proud of you. Keep it up, okay? And we're always here, you know. You've got the email, so don't be afraid to reach out. So yes, we're glad to see you. Electric Capsule System. Hey, all right. There you are. It's good to see you again as well. 5 pieces. Hope you're doing well, Infinities. Well, you just came in on the tail end of our rant about our narcissistic son who's doing his best to get fired from Walmart and is causing stress in the household. That's a hell of a story. Go ahead and just watch it later. We're not going to go back into it. Let's see. Viola, yes, it is you today. Hi, chat. Opal as well. What we just told Cloud. Go back. We don't want to dig back into it. So, hoping you don't have to feel afraid and that things will be well for you. Yeah, that goes for everybody. YouTubers from Denmark. I'm just now coming out of the shadows after a year of watching, so you're one of our longtime viewers. Welcome. We've always known that there's lurkers out there. Thank you very much for coming forward and saying hi. We know that there's far more people out there than actually comment. A lot of you guys may be afraid to break that barrier or to make your comments. It's scary. It's scary AF. I mean, hell, just us starting this channel was kind of like we literally had like 3 panic attacks before our first video, you know, where we're like, we're diagnosed with what? You know, you guys have all seen it. So yeah, it's scary, man. But yeah, we're glad that you've dropped a comment and decided to join in. Denmark, that's another overseas folks. I hope it's not too late for you guys there. I think it's like midnight or 1 in the morning because Naomi is she's in Israel, or they're in Israel, and they're always like, oh, it's like 1 a.m. and we're trying desperately to find a good time for you guys overseas that goes together with our schedule. So what would be a good time for you? What time is it there right now? And anybody who's international, just kind of drop that in the comments there, because we're trying to figure out when. And I know we say this every stream, but there's so many factors that go into it. So anyway, welcome, you YouTubers from Denmark. Bugbean, can't live without Earl Grey too. Yeah, Earl Grey is the best. Yes, tea, Earl Grey, hot. Maldwin subscribes to 5 pieces from 9. Yes. Yeah, everybody go ahead and head on over to their channel and check it out. Do them a solid. They're a great system. Great system who have been very brave in coming forward and have a unique perspective and a unique way of telling things. The way that they've come up for their episodes is quite compelling and very emotionally impactful. So yeah, don't overlook that. Worth a checkout. Okay, so support each other, yes. Okay, so it's just after midnight where Bugmean is. Let's see, if it's midnight, it is roughly 4 o'clock here, and it's midnight there. We're dealing with this 8-hour time difference. God, we suck at math in our head. And data is not at the front currently. We'll have to go on Google and figure it out. I think what we're going to do is run 2 streams, one on late on Friday nights, which would be Saturday morning for you overseas people, and then do the regular stream here, and we'll try keeping it at the same time. I think next time we're going to do that. So you overseas folks, we'll put up a community folks, yes, a community post about that before we do the next month's live stream. So we're going to try to accommodate you guys and see if that works out. So give us a heads up if that works. So yeah, Maldwin, trying to think of subjects or things to talk about. Well, all right. Let's go ahead and talk about the last episode, our little frozen memories, time, memory, and DID. What did you guys think? Do you have any questions? Did we answer things sufficiently logically? Because like we said, to tell you the truth, we kind of got lost making that. It made perfect sense to Data. Actually, it's kind of funny. Yeah, funny. Fuzzy, looking at the cat. It's actually kind of funny. Because he does us the outlines, he does his research, and then he goes and he puts it down into bullet points and refines it so that we can just basically pull it up as script and just go by the bullet points and fill in as necessary. Well, he got all the facts out of the way, but then it just stops. It's like, dude, where's our wrap up? How are we supposed to close this thing? You didn't put anything down for us. And we're like, ugh. So it's like he had his epiphany and then just, I'm out of here. So yeah, if it felt a little disjointed there at the end, that's why, because the rest of us were going, oh my God. So hopefully that made sense to you guys and was a better explanation of stuff that we have covered about the altars being time locked. And like we said, we hadn't taken into account the temporal illusions and the chronostasis effects that would also be recorded onto the brain at the time of the trauma. It makes perfect sense. And like we said, we don't take it for fact, even though we always, put our citations down there. We are not experts, so it's purely our supposition, guess, extrapolation that that might be the cause of the age sliding and the time loss and the grayouts and the blackouts and things, because it was just like, oh, boom, Data just follows the facts where they lead, or at least where they make sense to him. So let's see here. Can we double dip? Go right ahead. Let's see. Maldwin, yes, we need to watch that. We were not having a great time with life things and forgot to go back and watch it. It's okay. Yeah, check it out. We went to the dentist. Oh. We don't like dentists. For many reasons, but we don't like dentists. You want to see us become a terrified, frightened little? Yeah. Let's read the rest of your comment. Went to the dentist, and Little came to the front and freaked out at the needle with the sedation meds. Thankfully, the dentist and her assistants were amazing. Yeah, we have to be fully sedated when they go in to do anything, basically, because we freak. The Littles, yeah. We've got some medical things associated. We've said before many times that the people who do this, who are in the child porn and the child sexploitation and child prostitution industry, are cruelly efficient. Warning, gonna get a little heavy here for a second. Okay? 3, 2, 1. After we had played with our mommy or daddy, and they were done with us, we would be taken back and we would be cleaned up, scrubbed down, given an examination, and there were other things that went along with it, but just off of that, you should have an idea why we've got some serious issues with doctors and dentists and things like that. So yeah, there's some trauma-based reactions behind that as well. Yeah. So okay, that's we're done with that for the moment. So yeah, let's see here. Let's see. So yeah, we feel you on the dentist, Maldwin. Oh boy, do we feel you. Yeah, give us that little sedation pill, please. Count backwards because we don't want to be here. Actually, we're due to go in. Actually, we're overdue to go in. Remember how we're talking about, self-neglect? And how we're trying to be better? And this is one of those things. So yeah, Maldwin, God, we feel you there totally. Flinching before we had even read the whole thing of your content. 5 Pieces 9 is talking the Electric Castle system. You mentioned hides. We have been very cautious lately and want someone with us when we watch videos, including Infinities, because we are also scared. We hope that we're not making you scared, Cloud. Hopefully not. I mean, we're pretty real here, so I mean, and that can be overwhelming, which is why we tell you guys, attendance is not mandatory. Check out anytime you want. We will not be offended in any way, shape, or form. I mean, we hope that we're not trotting all over you guys. If we do, please let us know. We want to afford you guys the same courtesy that you would afford to us. But yeah, we get the system withdrawing for safety thing. We've been kind of fighting against the urge to do that ourselves and to remain functioning out here, which can be tough when dissociation is your natural state. So yeah. Let's see. Maldwin says have to be fully sedated too. Yeah, we'll take the hugs, send them back. Virtual hugs. Electric Castle. Yeah, I asked your wife to join us as well. Welcome, wife of Electric Castle System. It's good to see you. Viola has mentioned you guys several times. So it's good to see you at all. Hi. If you have any questions for us, just feel free to ask, and I'm sure they'll pass them along. We're pretty much an open book. Okay, so YouTubers from Denmark. We just got out of a 10-year period with dentist work. Have had braces. Let's just say not fun. Yeah, this was part of the reason for our dental, because when we were going through a really intense period of trauma, actually it was just after, which kind of follows on a realization that we made the other day, which we won't get into, but we had braces done by a little I think he was a Japanese guy who was very proficient but also very brusque. And it hurt because we had the full metal bands that went around and the headgear and everything you see like on these shows. The kids have got this nightmarish headgear on and shit like that. Excuse us. Yeah, that was us, and it hurt. Oh my God, it hurt. So yeah, we could probably just have PTSD just simply from the braces alone. But the fact that it also coincided right in the same time that we were experiencing some of our, really heavy stuff, doesn't do well. So yeah, not alone, definitely, for sure, as 5 Pieces of 9 is saying. Yes, sometimes it is real. Yeah, we don't apologize for that. 5, you guys know what you're going to get when you watch the channels, which also begs a question that we were thinking to ourselves earlier. Are we on the right course? What do you guys as viewers want from the channel? What do you want to see? Are we hitting all the right notes with the serious stuff? Obviously we're not going to change the little stories. That's we're going to keep doing that come hell or high water. But how about the rest of our content? Are we too serious? Do we need to throw in some lighter stuff? Do you want more of the day-to-day nitty-gritty of our lives? On that, we are going to be doing a part 2 to the voices in our head, a day with DID. This time we're going to do a night with DID. So that's, we haven't started on it or anything yet, but that we cemented that idea 2 days ago. So watch for that. So yeah, do you want lighter, fluffier stuff? Do you want the intimate, nitty-gritty, gory details of every last thing? Do you want to see us on camera going, I'm feeling so down right now? Or would you prefer to just see us as we are, real people? I mean, we're not currying this for views or for subs or anything like that. We're doing it because this is the way that we feel that we're best communicating. But we don't get a lot of feedback from you guys on... As we grow larger, we want to help to reach a wider base. So are we on course? Do you have any suggestions? Anyway, there we go. If you have any, throw them down there in the description or the comments, or throw it on our community tab. Wife just finally came home from workshop, so you'll probably hear her in a few minutes, and we may have to step away. But yeah. Okay, so let's see. Sorry, we're catching up here. Dentist topics right now too. Bugbean saying I am going to get fully sedated next time, which is very traumatic to us. Also, there is no right decision to make. Seems like, yeah, because if you ignore it, you end up with a massive pain of eventually that tooth implodes on you, and if you go, you have to face the fear. So it's a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and we wait way too long, and then we're in that pain period. So, yeah, we feel you. 5 Pieces 9 says there's many of us kind of receding and not creating lately, just the last couple of months. That's okay. Take it in your own pace. You know, you can't just pump this stuff out. Maldwin saying you enjoy the mix of content. Okay, good. 5 Pieces 9 that all have subbed or thinking of subbing. No, that I don't do switching or anything like that. We simply tell the truth through music videos. Yeah, exactly. And you have a unique way of doing it that's perfectly valid. Yes, you do place the trigger warnings as well. So, yeah. Bugbean says they enjoy the mix of topics, but especially the raw and real moments. We got a lot of those. There's a lot sitting in the video cabinet. Hi, honey. We're streaming. Hang on just a sec. Oh, yeah, you can't pause these. Let me mute the microphone. Hang on, guys.
Just go.
Figure out how to do it. There we go. Are we unmuted? Yes, we're unmuted. Okay.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome. Let's see here. Will's mom says, hello, Mrs. Infinity System.
Hello.
Yes, that is the voice of life that you're actually saying. Say hello to all of your devoted fans.
I have devoted fans.
Yeah, of course. They're my fans, so therefore they're your fans.
That's how this works.
Apparently, I don't know, reciprocity or something.
All right,
Circle
I'll
of
take
life.
it. Tell them I said hi.
She says hi. No, I'm sure you can hear. They say hello and halo and whatnot.
I'm happy to have fans.
Okay, so we're back. So let's see, where were we? We were on, oh yeah, whether or not we're doing the right mix of stuff. So we're glad that you think that we're hitting the right notes. I mean, do you want to see more of the raw stuff and the real stuff? I mean, we're not going to go on camera every time we're freaking out, but if you want to see more of that stuff, we've got it and we can show it to you. Just know what you're getting into. The main thing is that we don't want to be exploitive, of that kind of thing. Huh?
pain is one of those things that's a private experience.
Yeah, it can be. Um, okay, yeah, Bugbean is now, yes, the Electric Castle system says they're a huge fan of you, so. Or Viola does anyway, whoever is, I think they're still fronting at the moment.
Oh, thank you.
So let's see, 5 pieces of 9. Yeah, please let 5 pieces know as well. So yeah, maybe we'll, okay, if you guys want to see a little bit more of the that kind of thing, we'll consider doing that. We'll still screen it very carefully, but yeah, actually we've been reviewing some of the older journal footage, and there is stuff to be seen in there. For example, and oh god, this is so the YouTube DID channel tripe, but we do have switches on tape, both co and non-co. Which we actually didn't discover until the other day when we were rewatching. And oh, hello, who's this? All right, so ask questions, folks. The chat has gone kind of silent here. Yeah. 5 pieces of 9 is saying they also have darkness that they've withheld. You can leave it open a little, honey, so that we can get some air movement. Unfortunately, if I leave the ceiling fan on, it drowns out the microphone. So, 5 pieces saying that they also have darkness that they've withheld. Yeah, I think every system does, or we think every system does. And it can be tough to find how much to show, because you don't want to end up triggering yourself out, because that's always the danger. And there's also, you don't want to put your... It's the best way to put this. For everything that we put out, we take responsibility of the fact that of how it may impact you, our viewers. Obviously, we account for everything, and personal responsibility is a thing. We rely on you guys to decide whether or not this piece of our content is appropriate to watch. This is why we put up the trigger warnings. And anybody who's been on the channel knows for a while, we do deal with the frank and the serious stuff. So we expect the, viewer discretion is advised. We expect viewer discretion, but at the same time, we try to be as thoughtful as we possibly can in showing this stuff, but without causing damage to you guys or triggering you out, because we've been through some... Yeah, we don't believe in comparative trauma, but we do intellectually recognize the fact that, this could be traumatizing to you guys just hearing about it. So, anyway, yeah. So, we feel you, Cloud, sorry. Bugbean says it's hard to watch, but helps to feel less alone with everything. That's why, but please be careful and don't exploit yourselves. No, we're not going to do that. You guys know our mission statement, as it were, and we're keeping that course. That's what the channel's for. But at the same time, we just want to reach out to you guys and see, what connects more with you guys and what doesn't. So, and take that into account. So, let's see. Let's see. Be careful and don't exploit yourselves. Maldwin says we noticed a few switches in our streams too. Some yeah. It was really shocking when we saw ours, because it was just a step in, and this was actually before we were even, and it was like right at the same time that we were officially diagnosed, but it's definitely a co-con there, and we'll see. Anyway, Rose is saying, personally, we don't think you need to go down the switch caught on camera clickbait route. No, and we won't do it that way. If we actually do show any of our switches on camera, it will be as part of a multiple part, or as part of an episode, like, say, for example, the denying DID, with the part of a condition where we showed the denial up front, and then we went into trauma doesn't lie, and then wrapped it up. We don't show those bits just for exploitive or things like that. We show them because there is a point or a purpose or an illustrative point that can be made that way much easier than by, going bullet point by bullet point for 20 minutes. A picture is worth 1,000 words, and it's just a lot easier to show you like that. So if we do show these switches, the ones that we're talking about, it will be under the aegis of a video that deals specifically with switching, and some of the after effects that go along with that. So don't worry, we're not going to, prostitute ourselves for views. That's just not what we do. So yeah, and of course we rely on you, Roses, and the rest of you to, keep us on the straight and narrow, as it were. But Roses, you know us, we're not going to be doing that. So Electric Castle System says, post what is comfortable for you. Don't do anything just because we would like to see something. Thank you. Maldwin agrees. Electric says, adding on to it, we don't want it to re-traumatize you. Thank you. That is a valid point, but also keep in mind, just because of the way, number one, that we keep saying that we grew up together, more or less we did, well, not more or less, we did. It's just we weren't separate. It's we explain in lots of other places. Anything that we show on the channel or talk about is something that we feel free to talk about. This is something that either we have already worked through, or we're in the process of working through, or is not going to deliberately traumatize us. The nearest that we have cut to that, to hurting us, was when we told, As Long As We Remember You, when we told you guys about Christopher and Jenny and Jane. That was tough, but it was also something that we needed to do, because we needed to relate it for the people who may be curious and want to know exactly what it is that causes DID. Oh yeah, what is this abuse? What is this trauma that makes your mind split? Yeah. I thought I turned off notifications. There we go. But that was tough to get through. But they needed to be remembered, and their story needed to be told so that you guys understand it's not pretty. And this goes on every minute of every day somewhere. And that fact and that knowledge, and the knowledge that we were there, is a large part of what drives us forward. So don't worry, we're not going to, trigger ourselves out or go off the deep end or put ourselves into the hospital because of that. We have a fairly firm grasp of who we are and where we're at. We've got our tools. We're using them. We stay on our meds. We have our DBT. And yeah, it's a running struggle most days. It's a running struggle. We have better days. Today's a pretty good day. Yesterday wasn't so great, but it's ups and downs on the bipolar roller coaster. That is also DID, because we get the BPD symptoms as well. Thank you very much, structural dissociation theory. But it's the truth. So no, don't worry. We're not going to trigger ourselves out. That episode was the closest that we've ever gotten. After we recorded that, and we did manage to do it in one continuous take, we were going to edit out the parts where we're, in distress, saying, I don't know if we can do this. But that we decided to just go through, because if we stopped and we started editing it and editing things out, we knew that we were never going to get the story told. It was never actually going to get done. So we just needed to push through that. And that's why the second time that we kind of, stop and break down a little bit, you see us just refold our arms and push through. Because we realized that if we stopped at that point and tried, we weren't going to come back and try to re-record, and the episode just wouldn't get made, and that would not be doing justice. But thank you. But keep in mind, we're not squishy, really. We're 50. We've been through crap that most people can't even conceptualize of. We've survived it. We can survive telling our story. But we do apply it judiciously, and we're rambling. Let's get back. But yeah, thank you, Electric Castle System. Yeah. Let's see. We don't already tell me. Yes, that 1.33k subs didn't get here by accident. Yes, friend. Thank you, friend. we help boost each other's self-esteem. Thank you, as always. So, let's see. The 420 Witch just dropping by to send you a whole truckload of love. Thank you. Right back at you, 420 Witch. I love it. Actually, come to think of it, we'll send that back at you. Okay, yeah, I don't care. You guys know we smoke. We're legal. So, Besides, our back kills us from the trauma, and this is part of the way that we stay mobile. So, forgive us if we indulge. Ooh, shocking. Let's unsubscribe. The Infinity System smokes weed. Huh? Okay, sorry. Cynical side of us. So, hey, 420 Witch, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. Truckload of love right back at you. Stay in touch. Drop a comment. We do care about you people. Let's see. Bug Beans talking to 5 Pieces of 9. Good. Bug Beans commenting on Rose's. She said they say they're quite happy there's less switching channels out there now. Yeah, that seems to have calmed down a little bit. Will's mom, I cannot get those video or those 2 little girls out of my head. Imagine how we feel. I'm sorry, that seems callous, and it's not. To be dead honest, that's why we released it. Because and that let us clarify, because that sounds like a real asshole thing to do, but it's not. And we said so in the video. As long as we remember them, they existed. They mattered. It's the only thing that we have, other than our trauma memories, that had been locked away, other than this one small cover memory that we remembered that made absolutely no sense, involving a red balloon. Yeah, the classic telltale there. And after that therapy session, that was rough. But we realized that because Data went looking, he went looking, missing children records dating all the way back. He searched every damn police database, everything that he could find, just simply to try to find them, to put names to them, and maybe contact their parents, who may not have known about them. They might have just vanished. There were 1,000 possibilities running through our heads. And eventually we hit the realization that we just simply had to accept the fact that they were real, that they existed, that they were just like us, and that, yeah, we saw this happen to them. And they were not the last. Unfortunately, they were not the last. But we wanted them to be remembered, and believe it or not, we soft-pedaled that story quite a bit. Quite a bit. There's much more that we did not relate. That happened before, during, and after. So forgive us for sticking them in your memory, guys. But it was, and maybe it's selfish on our part, but we wanted them to be immortal. We wanted, once we have shuffled off this mortal coil, finally, we wanted their memory to go on. And we gave them that. And it was the only thing that we could give them, after they gave us everything. So there's that. Sorry. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, thank you, Will's mom, for remembering them. Thank you. Okay, it's 420 Witch, sending you so much love. Your channel is so educational and a real safe space for lots of systems and people, and I want you to know how much love I have for you and your system. Thank you, 420 Witch. That tells us right there that we're on the right course. This should be a safe space for systems, and thank you. Thank you for the praise. And thanks for watching and popping by to say, hey, well, we appreciate the positive feedback, believe me, because we can use it. At times, seriously, your guys' comments, we go back and we reread them to remind ourselves that we're doing something good. and that not everything is black and bad, and the trauma has eaten all of our life, and we're not giving anything back. So yeah, your comments help. We're not saying we rely on them for emotional stability or anything, but yeah, we will go back and reread them when we're feeling low. So, onwards. Let's see. Talking back, we indulge also before sleeps. Yes. Yeah, a good indica. Oh, we would not get sleep without landrace indicas. Seriously, it's the only option that we have because we've tried virtually every pill under the sun, and they all leave us sick and drugged out and feeling like crap and unable to function. And to be like with our back pain, we have severe lower back pain because basically our lower vertebrae were crushed after decades of being raped. Sorry, should have put a trigger warning on that. Probably should not have put on the red shirt today. Yeah, I think that so pills or pot, once it became, and we did smoke back in the day. We started at 15 and kind of went through there. Of course, now we understand why, because we were trying desperately to get away from the pain and the trauma that we had been and were still experiencing at that point in time, though it had shifted form. But yeah, we would not be able to be here and be functional without it. And particularly once we went the medical card route for years, and then they finally legalized it for recreational and everything. But yeah, we're not going to be ashamed about it. We're not going to do it on camera a lot, but we're there and we don't care. It's a beneficial plant and it has many, many uses, and mankind has been an idiot or at least Western culture has been an idiot in ignoring the medicinal and psychological properties of said little herb. So there's our blurb. So Malden, we'll virtually hit one up for you sometime. Let's see, 99 Kokoro. Devil's lettuce. Dad uses it for his knees and ointment. The first time he used it, he got high for some reason. Shouldn't be, unless they had some THC or THCA there in with the CBD and didn't mix it too well. It's all the tinctures and stuff are still kind of in the early infancy. CBD is like all over the place now. You can go down to King Supers and pick yourself up a little thing of CBD cream. But devil's lettuce, we've never heard it called that before, so thanks. Learned something new today. Let's see, 5 Pieces of 9. Sometimes our parts want to tell part of their story and they deserve to be heard. Yes, absolutely. They loved enough to do so much for us, so what we can do to show them that they are loved. Yeah, exactly. The littles are the most important parts of the system. We wouldn't be systems without them. And we ANPs tend to forget that and shove them down because we're afraid of the trauma. We can't deal with it. That's why we're ANPs, and we must avoid the trauma. So it's like one of the things we've been working on right now is making sure that the littles get their time out and get it on a schedule. Generally, it's like Saturday evenings. Tonight, later on this evening, will be little time. Yes, Susie, please don't push. Yeah, right there. Ow. Susie is pushing, and because she wants to play and come out and play with Christopher and whatnot. And you're just gonna have to wait, okay? Calm down. We promise that you'll get to come out, okay? All right. Ow. Yeah, TITH in action right there. The littles can push really hard and they don't know how hard they're pushing, and she's very rambunctious would be the best word. Like I said, she scares us a little for many reasons, but anyway. Yeah. So yes, 5. Yeah. Or Cloud, I'm sorry. We tend to refer to you folks by your YouTube moniker unless we know better. So forgive us when we slip. Okay, so Maldwin was the same with sleeping and sleepy antidepressants. So smoking before bed helps us a lot. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I don't know if any of you guys experience this, but we have like ran through the damn gamut of medications with our nurse practitioner for our mental health clinic, and it's like she tried us on Zoloft. Was it Zofran? I can't remember what it starts with a Z, and it would just drug us up and drug. And she's been trying these different things to help us to get sleep, but they're either proving ineffective or they have exactly the reverse effect. Like she started us on Prazosin to help with the night terrors and the sleep paralysis, and it made things 10 times worse. And she's like, "It should not be having this effect," and we're like, "Well, it does." So it's limited options to begin with, and then it's more natural. So yeah, okay. 5 piece of 9, hoping that everyone remembers to breathe. Let's see, 420 Witch. Pot's the only thing that 1 kills your chronic pain, 2 keeps your emotions on level, and 3 stops your anxiety and other ailments. Amen. Right there with you. We wouldn't be able to move around the way that we can. We'd probably be in a wheelchair if it wasn't for it keeping us going, because our back pain is, we haven't been able to sit comfortably or lay down or even standing up. It's constant, and we've been experiencing it most of our life, but it started to get really bad around 2008. We started noticing it really bad, and since then we haven't been comfortable anywhere. Floating in the tub, that's about the best it gets. Swimming, that's about all. But we've been curious to try the like the inversion tables where you hang upside down and it straightens your spine out, but I don't know, our chiropractor said that's probably not a good idea with the kind of damage that we've got, but we're always open. So yes. Will's mom, I once asked you if religion was a trigger for you. I know that terrible things have been done in the name of religion, but thank you for telling the story of the girls. Yeah, religion is not a trigger. Our parents were not religious types. Our egg donor was... She had been okay. Yeah, see, I can tell you what she said that she was, but the woman lies the way that fish breathe water, and anything that she says immediately, the next time that it's said, it's entirely something else. I don't think that she could get 2 facts to stick together if she used Elmer's glue between them. So basically, we can't really rely on anything that she said that she told us. But she was not particularly religious. It was they were hippy dippies, and I know I'm that's the term for the time. They were flower children, and everything that went along with that, with the transcendental meditation and this and that and the other thing. She actually swung back and forth between traditional religion, and it's like she felt guilty or something, and so like every Christmas she would have to go attend mass, and it's like, oh, that makes everything all better. The fact that you're allowing your children to be exploited, oh, well, a midnight mass on Christmas Eve, that just makes everything fine, doesn't it? So no, religion in itself is not directly a trigger, and we have been many religions throughout our life. We've been Christian, we've been Buddhist, we've been Wicca, agnostic. Right now, and this is probably the only time we'll really talk about this, so enjoy what you're getting now. We are not quite atheist, but the older that we get, the more trying to figure out how to say this without pissing everybody off. Again, we respect your faith. If it brings you comfort, that's great. We were not directly abused by anyone in a religious setting. I know that that can occur. We know people that personally has occurred to. But it fortunately did not occur that we're aware of to us. We think it would have reared its ugly head between now, but we've ran the gamut. Right now, Here's our thoughts. We are sure that there are things in this vast universe that make us look like itty bitty little worms, bacteria that we are. Things are out there as a natural course of things that we can't even perceive simply because we don't have the senses to perceive them. Now, whether or not that means that I should worship something that is more advanced than I am, that I can only barely perceive on that level of existence, not so much for us. As I'm sure that you've noticed, we tend to believe in science and facts and use those as our guiding line. And there is just way too much wibbly wobbly and way too many men who have taken perfectly good religious doctrine and thought and perverted it to their own ends. So yeah, where do you separate God from man? And this is as far as we're going to get to this particular theological rabbit hole. So that's, you know, where we're at. We're not atheists. We're not quite agnostic. We recognize the possibilities. We respect everyone else's faith. But where we're at is, that's where we're at. So there you go. And pretty much we're all harmonious in that viewpoint. There are some of us who have more extreme views, Mimi for one. Maybe some other time we'll get into that. So yeah, not a direct trigger, but yeah, and thank you for telling the story of the girls. You're welcome. Bugbeam says it's illegal where they live, but sometimes the only helpful thing, to be honest, yeah, I mean, we grew up with it being illegal. We were, you know, members of the just say no generation, you know, and of course all that bullshit. It was just bullshit. And fortunately, finally, the pendulum is swinging in the opposite direction. I mean, look how many states in the U.S. have now legalized. Other countries are following suit. So hopefully, Bugbeam, you know, your state or country will follow suit. Until then, just stay safe. We were there. And it's weird when they legalize, because you're walking into the dispensary and it's like, where's the cops? Anyway. We're kind of all over the place today, aren't we? Okay, let's see here. So, it gives you the opportunity to pray for them and for you. Thank you, Will's mom. We will gladly accept that. Yeah, you want to pray for us and give us thoughts? Thank you. We respect that and we appreciate it. Whether it's somebody lighting a prayer of Buddhist incense or Catholic saying a prayer for us or whatever, thank you. We'll appreciate the good thoughts. Those are always appreciated, no matter what form they come in under. Tolerance, boys and girls, makes for a happier world. We can coexist all of these things if we're just willing to crack open our minds and our perceptions just a little bit. We find that we all want the same damn thing. So, thank you for that. Hope we haven't offended you. Let's see. Malden says they have a bag beside the bed full of stems, stuff for the littles and stuff for grounding. It's super useful. Yeah, we've got a row full of Christopher stuffed animals on the windowsill behind the bed, and we keep our safe box close at hand. We actually set it aside in case any of you are not familiar with the grounding box or want to see more on it. So, okay, let's see here. Okay, thank you, 420 Witch. We're going to keep that separate from Susie because she's very precocious, but thank you. We'll let her know when she comes back out. Right now, Rosemary is distracting her. So. Witch hoods are good hoods. Yes, absolutely, especially since we used to be a witch. So, Data too, believe it or not. Okay, we won't get off into that. Let's see. Witch hoods are good. Yes, they are. Had spinal surgery. Okay, 420 Witch is saying had spinal surgery at 16. It's been really, really bad since then. But yeah, I always had pain in my spine and other joints and progressively getting worse. And the pot is the only thing that's worked. Yeah, same thing here. They had us on all the pills and the painkillers, and we were a zombie and we just couldn't deal with it. We would actually rather experience the pain than live that way. And it did terrible things to our mood and just everything. And finally, we just pulled off them and went cold turkey. It's like, no thank you. I'd rather live with the pain and be clear-headed. So yeah, we feel you, 420 Witch. Will's mom says, one last comment before I go. If you ever get that P.O. box, I will send Percival some fine Earl Grey tea. You know how fond I am of him. Yes, after he insulted your favorite authors. He has very set opinions. Thank you. On the P.O. box, yes, I know that once we hit 1,000, we promised that we were going to get a P.O. box. And yes, we've been dragging our feet on it. But here's the essential conundrum, okay? We can't open a P.O. box without revealing what state, and more specifically, what city we're living in, which we've deliberately kept vague. Now, don't get me wrong, or get us wrong. It's not that we're so much afeared for you guys, but you never know exactly who's watching, and there are some weird people, and we live in a state that would not be conducive overall or to the systems. This is why we're covert. Yeah, so those are all those things. We're trying to figure out a way to do it, but it's going to have to be in a way that will, like with a double mailing system, maybe have it sent to some. We're going to try to work on it, but we're still playing with the system safety issue on that. So, thank you. We appreciate it. Plus, we just kind of feel weird about you guys sending us stuff because it's like, but then there's also the part of us that goes, well, if somebody gives you something, then you should just accept it and say thank you. So yeah, it's a thorny issue. So that's what's going on with the P.O. box. But thank you, Will's mom. We'll tell Percival, and I'll probably bang at us for getting a P.O. box. So where were we? So take care, Will's mom. We want to see you again. Don't be a stranger. Okay. Let's see here. Rose's Rent said, it's so ironic and weird as someone for whom the illegality of pot is what directly put me in the path of the abuse, that this is now the thing that also helps the aftermath after. Yeah, we know exactly what you mean there, because we know exactly what you mean. Yeah, there's so many cruel ironies in DID. Let's see, Maldwin, okay, she's talking about the grounding box. Remember the citrus orange oil, and we now use a citrus perfume for grounding. Yeah. Ours is the... Where are you at? There it is. Mainstays, which is the Walmart brand Mandarin. This is, oops, can I get it to focus? Probably not. Anyway, it's Mainstays Mandarin Essential Oil Blend. I don't even know if it looks like this. This bottle is like a year old now. A little goes a long way. But yeah, it's we find that citrus helps snap us here, because strong scents are triggers that will almost guarantee that we're going to have a flashback. Cigarette smoke, strong body odor, strong perfumes, and the smell of alcohol. So yeah, we don't go into bars. Never did, but yeah. So yeah, let's see here. 5 Pieces of 9 says you have 11 stuffies. When asking littles if they have enough now, the answer is always no. We keep a pretty, I don't want to say a tight rein on the littles, but we're learning to not spoil them, because after all, they are still children. So they're going to want things that are unreasonable when it's unreasonable to give them. So getting those little things that cost maybe $1 or $2 sporadically is going to save you from $50 to $60 to several $100 purchase when somebody else has been fronting and went to the littles. Oh, okay, honey, I'll get you that. It kind of helps to cut the problems off at the pass, as it were. At least it's working for us so far. Knock on wood. So, yeah. Stuffies are always good. Mostly unicorns and cats, yes. Which 420 Witch, I'd also like to send you a gift. Could you double deliver, i.e. have a P.O. box to a P.O. box? We've thought about that, but it doesn't work that way, unfortunately, because we did some inquiries into the post office, and number one, those things are freaking expensive, man. It's like $50 for 2 months. It's like, ow. But we thought about that, but unfortunately, what we would need would be like a mail forwarding service. But unfortunately, yeah, the post office won't just automatically ship like that. We would need an intermediary in between. It's a thorny little problem. But thank you, 420, which we appreciate that. Let's see, 420 which made myself some grounding fiddle beads from lapis lazuli, garnet, and lava stone. Lava stone can hold scent from essential oils. Yeah, because it's porous. The pumice is that's a great idea. Come to think of it, we never thought about that. Thank you, 420 Witch. Learned something new today. Lava stone lava can hold scent from essential oils, and I put lavender and sage on them. Yeah, lavender and sage, they don't work so well for us. Those are, yeah. Lavender has some unfortunate connotations to it. Not like triggers, just, yeah. And sage belongs on a turkey. No, or we use smudge sticks to, purify the atmosphere and whatnot. So we do like sage. Yeah, we prefer the citrusy things. So cool idea on the lava stone, though. Thank you for that. We've been using like a little cloth bag that we would saturate with scent and then just kind of, keep it with us for the places that we can't pull out the full-size bottle of oil. But that's a good idea. Okay, so I think, have we caught up on all the questions? Yes, we have. 9. Okay, cozy little group now. It's funny because after it seems like we get more views afterwards. It's kind of unfortunate because we really like to talk with you guys and go up front. Okay, so we're caught. Let's see here. Email me about the PO box and perhaps I may be able to help somehow. Yeah, we're kind of talking with somebody right now on that. So Cloud, if that falls through, we will go ahead and give you a holler. Okay, thank you, and thank you for being willing to do that. And just I know we keep saying it, but it just feels weird to have you guys want to send us stuff for no reason. I mean, we get it, but it's just. And actually, part of this is a trauma response too, and we realize that because we were taught that our needs were not important and were wrong, and that anytime that you got anything from anyone, it was a trap because there's always a price to pay. There was always something. There was always a catch, always a price. And so we grew up and throughout our entire lives we still have trouble taking compliments. We are terrible about taking compliments because instead of just saying thank you and accepting a compliment and feeling a little good about ourselves, that little good feeling automatically gets translated into guilt. We don't deserve to feel this way. It's not right that we feel this way. So we immediately make some kind of a self-depreciating comment or a joke or something that shifts the focus of we can feel good about actually having to do this thing. And it's so ingrained that we didn't even realize that we were doing it until recently. And we've been trying very hard to do that. It's like our wife she'll give us compliments and we're like, oh, thank you, but, and it's like, she's like, take the damn compliment. And we're like, thank you. So, one of the things that we're trying to be better about, but it's so hard to overcome that literal programming that has been legit beaten into you, emotionally, if not physically. So it's just so insidious and pervasive. So yeah, that's part of it as well. So it's a very complex issue for us, but we do appreciate the thoughts, and yes, we will probably get one. We just have to overcome. Yeah, for us after. Let's see here. Very well connected. Okay, yeah. So thank you, 5 pieces. We'll let you know on that. 420 Witch will be forwarding the love to a few systems I know. Love you that are not able to watch right now. Yeah, and we're always on the live streams. Oh, and you guys, and we have noticed that this is a thing lately. And we weren't aware of this until we were wondering why we weren't getting notifications from one of our own subscriptions. Okay, in order to get all of the notifications from our channel, there's a little bell icon, okay, on the lower right side. I think it's right next to the subscribe button underneath the video frame. If you click on that bell icon, it gives you 3 choices: no notifications, partial, or full notifications. And even the partials are really, really spotty. But we discovered this on one of the channels because it's like, why are we not getting the notifications for this stuff? We're missing content. And then it's like, oh, duh. Thank you, YouTube, for telling us another feature that we really didn't know diddly squat about. So make sure to check your subscription preferences with the little bell icon to make sure you're getting, our updates and whatnot. So there. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, please forward the love 420 Witch. Anybody who you think might benefit, and this is not for us, not to gain subs. If there is anyone out there who may benefit from the content, that's what it's about. So yes, please point them towards the content by all means. Okay, so let's see here. Rose's no reason like research, scripting, filming, editing, and managing social media aren't real work. Thank you, friend. You're right. 5 pieces of 9 for us after compliments. We often remain silent. Yeah, because it's a trap. It's a trap, and your whole body is screaming, I can't say anything. If I say something, if I say this, I'm going to be wrong. If I say that, I'm going to be wrong. So it's just easier to stay silent. And that is a direct link back to the abuse and the gaslighting that the abusers will put you through, because they will deliberately put you into situations where there is no right answer, where you are going to get punished either way, and it doesn't matter. And this is a classic abuser tactic, not only with children, but with adults as well. I'm sure those of you out there who have been in a relationship with a partner like that can directly testify. It's a very common thing. But it is an ingrained trauma response for us. So yeah, we get you 5. We get you. Just more things to become, that you eventually become aware of, and then you're just like, is there no part of my life that has not been touched by this crap? And it's frustrating. So yeah. Let's see. Green Lean, hello, welcome. We haven't seen you about the channel or on a live stream before. Welcome to the chat. Glad to see you. You are worth it. Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you. We appreciate that. 5 pieces of 9. It really does feel like programming because it was taught so young. Yeah, absolutely, and it is. It's deliberate. I mean, we don't know the intimate things about your how you were programmed as it was, but for us, it was an actual methodical process. Not only when we were at work, as it were, but also at home, because our abuser at home, he had this very specific set of rules, but as again, he would place us in those situations where there was no right answer, and we just knew that we were going to be hurt no matter what we said. So it was just easier to just keep our heads down and our mouths shut, which is exactly the position that these people want you in. You're a thing. You don't have thoughts. You don't have rights. You don't have a voice. Things don't matter. That's what they taught us. And yeah, after a lifetime of conditioning, well, okay, the first half of the lifetime of conditioning during the formative years, yeah, it sticks. And you're not even aware those patterns are there until all of a sudden they come up and bite you in the ass, and you've got enough perspective out from the outside to tell, yeah, this is a problem that I am having. This is my reaction. This is why, and this is what we need to work on. And in the end, it seems like we end up doing all the goddamn work because we have to clean up after all the shit that they did to us and live with all the after effects, and they just get to go, la, 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 la. So yeah, it's programming. That's exactly what it is. Ours was with a book, or a script, yours, something else. But yeah, call it what it is. Let's see, Maldwin, people used to make us feel bad for taking compliments, saying we were egotistic, or just made us feel horrid. It used to mess with our heads, so it's hard to take compliments now. Yeah, our egg donor was big on that. That whole, oh, well, you're intelligent, therefore you have to do more and be more humble and don't accept that. Yeah, it was just another form of gaslighting and control under the aegis of proper moral behavior. Yeah, this coming. So yeah. Seems like it's pretty common. And it is, yeah. Roses is saying that they've had the problem with that as well. which is why Roses and I, we remind ourselves of these things right back and forth, you know. Friends, that's what friends do. Fist bump. Let's see. Okay, let's see. 420 Witch. I don't take compliments at all well. I'm not a system, but I did experience a lot of bullying from peers and siblings for the way I looked or my disabilities. I have CPTSD and possible BPD. If you haven't been diagnosed 420 yet, try to be, so that at least that way, you know exactly what you're dealing with, because you can only shoot in the dark for so long. As you know, if you've been watching the channel, we're pro diagnosis. It's just too damn complex, and we've seen this firsthand. And believe me, with data, it's like we would love to self-diagnose, and that's why we got the piece of paper. Well, actually, we didn't seek it. It sought us out. So we would have been happy to live in ignorance. Well, not happy, but, well, you know what we're saying. Anyway. Let's see here. So yeah, well, we were bullied as well. I mean, we were a trauma victim with a walking target on our back for every neighborhood bully, and they did too. So yeah, we feel you. Yeah, and keep in mind 420 Witch, okay? We're not telling you that you have DID or you might, but these are the facts. Okay, if to have DID, the trauma has to be recurrent from birth to about the age of 9 to 10 when the ego states congeal. Now, the trauma that can cause DID does not have to be physical, does not have to be sexual. It can be emotional in nature, deprivation of human needs, just going through, intense trauma over a prolonged period of time. Everybody associates DID directly with sexual trauma or physical trauma. There are other things out there that can cause it. But, again, this is where it needs to be sustained, repeated over the course of time, and the DSM-5 lays out the various things. So don't be afraid to get in there and get diagnosed. You may find out that you have less than you thought and be able to hopefully nobody really wants to join the DID club if they know what it's really about. But yeah, get in there if you possibly can. Most of the time it's free. It's nowhere near as scary as you may think. We were terrified. We were expecting clank, clank, rubber room, and straitjacket, and that didn't happen. Turns out pretty much you are in complete control. Unless obviously you go off and are suicidal or whatnot and things like that and act out, in which case, yeah, you're going to end up in a treatment center for a little bit. We have managed to avoid that. Barely on a couple of occasions. But yeah. If we had a point, I'm not sure. So let's see here. 5 piece of 9. Oops, you didn't mean to go that far. I meant that because it was the beginning of learning life, and that is what you respond with, or something. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Oh, now you're going to get off the table to where I could actually fold laundry. Or are you just going to sit on top of the laundry and fur it? You're going to sit on top of the laundry and fur it. Why do you think I put a towel over the pile? Oh, I see. You're after your sunshine. Sec. Come here. I'll give you your sunshine. There you go. Lots of shiny, shiny, shiny. Okay. Sorry about that. Cats, rulers of the world. Okay, so yeah, 5. Don't worry about that. We're good. Greenlean says, been a subscriber for a long time, but it's the first time I've been able to attend a live. Glad to be here. We're glad to have you. They're saying, took me years to realize the trauma of taking compliments too. I love how you just called them egg donor. I'm going to use that for sure. That's great. Yeah, because we can't refer to that woman as our mother. Any woman that would allow her children to be sold and exploited for money, and then try to put on a righteous front. It's just, and the worst part of it is, it was so thorough and it was so good. We were joined to her hip. We were mommy's good boy. We were the good child, the good son. Straight A's in school, somehow. That's data for you. till high school when we hit a rough patch. But anyway, gee, wonder why. But we cannot bring ourselves, after knowing what we know now, to call her our mother. She was not our mother. If we had a mother, it was our grandmother. But the person who provided the other half of our chromosomal material should never have been allowed to have children. Why is it that we are required to have a license to operate a motor vehicle, but we're not required to have a license to have children? Anyway. Okay, so, yeah, feel free to use egg donor. Actually, I think we might have gotten that from Rose's. Not sure. Things get a little fuzzy there. So credit to her. So, let's see here. So, where are we? Okay, IZ Digital Piano. Hi, I was watching your last live stream. I saw you're live now, so jumped in here. A bit emotional right now. Don't know what to say. Hi, and I believe you. Hi, Digital Piano. It's okay. The streams can go from really light and fluffy to kind of heavy. I mean, we've I don't want to say heavy moments, We've kind of touched on a few areas today. Don't worry about us getting all triggered out over camera. We know how to deal with ourselves pretty well. I don't think anything that any of y'all, but never know. But we appreciate your guys' consideration on that behalf. So yeah. And welcome. We're glad that you popped in. New faces are always welcome. You guys are talking back and forth. Okay, Rosa says, Chris, where are you coming up with that? Most of the time it's free talking point you keep throwing out. Oh, okay, as far as the therapy and the counseling, most of, or at least in our neck of the woods, we discovered if you're not on a private insurance plan, you can generally get on a state one that is generally free, and they will help you apply for it if you don't already have it. But if they don't have anyone directly there at that office, there are a lot of other organizations that they will be in contact with in order to provide those counseling services and possible diagnoses. So there are several different ways. You have to look a little more carefully for those, or at least contact an existing place and say, okay, look, I don't have any insurance. This is where it's at, and they will be able to direct you to them. We did not pay for our initial things; those were absolutely free. As we got into therapy, obviously later on, it was well, at first they ran it through the state healthcare that I got because we have an SMI designation, seriously mentally ill, which means that we are provided services for psychiatric and our medications and our therapy and whatnot. Those are all covered by that designation under the state. We don't know if that's true all across the country or whatnot. Yeah, but there are clinics and whatnot. There are the main clinics, even if they may be, for profit, they're at least going to be able to reach out to others. There are resources. That's what I'm saying. So don't be afraid to at least explore it. If it's not free, it may be able to get it for minimal cost. But if you're in the U.S. here, look into your state health care system. Particularly if you're already diagnosed or symptomatic or whatnot. It's pretty much, there are still things to get in there. Look into the SMI designation. Yeah, it does follow you, but so. Yeah, that's the overall. We can't give you specifics without going on a state-by-state basis, but there are resources out there. So yeah, wish we could be more specific. The whole point is, don't be afraid, get out there, and at least explore the possibilities. So yeah. Okay, yeah, especially in true. Fortunately, average time from beginning of therapy. Okay, sorry, I'm catching up with Roses here. Okay, she's talking to 420 Witch, saying... Oh, okay. 420 is saying they're waiting for therapy to start and to get a full and professional insight. My part of the UK is a long waiting list, but I'm on one at least. Yeah, see there. And unfortunately, it does work differently between the States and overseas. Actually, kind of works better over there than it does over here. So at least you're on the list. So yeah. Yeah, as Rosa is saying, average time for beginning of therapy to diagnosis with DID is 7 years. Therapy is most of the time at least $100 per session. And many health insurance does not cover the cost of mental health. Okay, yeah, we must have just lucked out then. So yeah. Anyway, point being, explore your alternatives. Explore the possibilities out there. Hopefully it'll work out. There might be I don't know, are there like maybe grants or something for this? We don't know. You know what, Rose? We need to like have a group powwow to like do up a list of resources or something that are commonly available. We'll shelve that as a Roses. Remind us of that later on, and we'll see what we can do to give a more substantial answer. Thank you. So yeah, she's right about the time of diagnosis. We got lucky and got it pretty much right off the bat, about a year and a half. So let's see here. I call a woman like that the oven, referring to egg donor. Yeah. Digital Piano saying, thanks, watching your content too. Usually a silent watcher. Oh, she's saying just chill and listening. Yeah, but by the same token, Digital Piano, don't be afraid to ask questions and talk amongst yourselves. This is really freeform. Everybody's got a piece of the answer. Everybody's got a unique perspective. This is about listening to all of you guys and our experience as well, rather than just us blabbing at you, which we do enough anyway. So welcome. Feel free to ask anything you want. All right, so onwards. 5 Pieces 9 says, I'm 9, so in agreement with you about not calling parents those titles. Very similar stories, yours and ours. I'm 9, wasn't allowed to have a name when he wasn't at work. Yeah. Yeah. And when we were at work, we had different names. John. Jack. Good boy. Bad boy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's just as bad in private. Yeah. And it's stuff not to be bitter and let the bitterness consume you, because you have every right to it. You have every right to your anger and every right to your bitterness. Every right. I get so irritated at people who just, oh well, it's made you stronger. You should just move beyond it. No. I have a right to my anger. I was used. I was abused. I was tortured. You know, we have a right. We are this way because of this crap, and you're telling us that we don't have the right to our own anger, that we don't have the right to sit with it for a while, that this isn't positive, that this isn't healthy? Well, frankly, take your arbitrary scale of happiness and stuff it right up your... You have a right to your emotions. Sorry, mini rant. Okay, so... Greenlee and I agree. Some people should not have kids, including my narcissistic egg donor who only had kids to make herself look good. Yeah, the trophy child. Boy, do we know that one. It's more in the UK. Hey, Clover! Hello! Popping in. How are you, Clover? Good to see you. Hi, hello. Yeah, shattered vertebrae do not make one stronger. Constant flashbacks do not make one stronger. Yeah. Digital Piano says they're single, just listening to systems here on YouTube. You're going to find a wide variety. Here, if you're looking for honest, straight talk, we deal with heavy stuff. We're not a lot of light and frou-frou. Basically, our content is split between the little stories, which is for littles, where Percival tells them stories in our safe space, which you can kind of see the trees behind us here. If you haven't seen those, go check them out. A lot of people who are not multiples have found them very comforting as well. So we're hitting both sides of the spectrum there. But we do cover heavy stuff. We try to do trigger warnings where appropriate, but if we're not exactly like the other channels. So just keep your eyes open and keep your mind open, because there's different perspectives out there and good information and misinformation. So use your own judgment to sort through them. And welcome again. So yeah, kid, just this is why we follow the science, because there's so much information out there and so much of it is misinformation, and a lot of it may not be deliberate misinformation, but it's out there nonetheless. So viewer discretion again. But we're glad to have you, glad that you're tuning into the channel here. So 420 Witch is off to bed. Sleep well, sweet dreams. Thank you very much for coming in, and we'll absolutely accept your witchy hugs, and we'll give them right back to you. So yes, off to bed. Go on, self-care. And thanks for coming in. Thank you for standing up for Nandan. He holds all our systems. And I go, oh yeah, and we know the comment that you're referring to. It's okay to be angry. It's not okay to lash out at other people, but it's okay to be angry. So, you're welcome. Let's see. Digital Piano, I was one of your first subscribers. Thank you. You have been here a long time. You've been with us through thick and thin, then, yeah. Let's see. Clover wants to know, is Percival going to read another adult story to the older ones? Yes. Yes, he is. We are currently in the process of deciding, or rather he is, exactly what it is that he wants to read next. We're trying to keep him more on the novella side of things, like with The Forgotten Door. But there is one book in particular that he kind of wants to read. Okay, very much wants to read, but it's going to be way longer than The Forgotten Door. Okay, so don't expect a quick series on the next one unless he finds something else to do. So yeah, but it's gestating in the pot of things to do though. So yeah. But we've got 2 or 3 little stories to do before the slate is cleared for that. So in the near future. Okay, so let's see. So the answer is yes. Let's see. Cryptid system. Okay, all right. Good channel. If you want more systems to watch, Digital Piano. Let's see. 5 pieces of 9. Being afraid to go outside because it doesn't feel safe doesn't make one stronger. No. No, it doesn't. Green Lean says, I'm really glad you share some of these really difficult parts of trauma. Oh, wait. I'd love to hear some King Arthur Merlin stories. Night, all of love. We have the complete Arthur stories, so that could very well be a thing. Thank you for poking that in as a possibility. You may have just saved our bacon from a very long novel. So we'll see what we can do to get that 420 Witch. Green Lean, coming back to your comments, really difficult parts of trauma. That's basically why we started the channel, because we came on and we looked at the various channels and what they had to offer, trying desperately to learn about our condition. And the one thing that we noticed over and over and over again was that none of the channels were willing to directly address trauma. And not having to go into ooey gooey gory detail on it, but just trauma affects us. This is what made us. And if we ignore it, we're ignoring a complete aspect of DID. And people are out there, you guys are experiencing these same things. I mean, not every system is identical, but these are all common problems. And we decided, well, you know what, we're going to be the ones to take and tear that Band-Aid off and try to give you guys some real information, the stuff that we're learning about in therapy, the techniques that we're learning about, the tools that we're learning about. And this, Roses, this goes back to your free care thing. This is why we're trying to provide, you know, what we've learned and pass it on to you guys, because why would we just sit on it when somebody else out there may benefit? So we're just trying to give you the benefit of what we're going through from our perspective, which is kind of unique because we're older than the systems that you'll see here on YouTube. I think we might be the oldest. I'm not sure. Not looking for that achievement or anything, but at least the oldest publicly broadcasting one that we know of. But we wanted to address those icky, sticky things that nobody else wants to talk about. But we realized that we could do it in a manner that was not exploitative, and that just simply stuck to the facts, and that we could present them in a way that wouldn't be too overwhelming for our audience. And it's a very fine line for us to tout or to toe at times. So hopefully we're on the right course. As we asked earlier on, it seems like we are. It seems like this is the stuff that you guys value and get the most out of, even though it is tough to deal with and can be triggering. And a lot of the comments that we've gotten, you know, on our heavier videos, like Trauma Doesn't Lie, people are saying this really helped, and that we're glad that this stuff, because it shows that, yeah, we're doing the right thing by getting out there and addressing this stuff. So yeah, we may not be, you know, showing, oh my God, I'm cracked out in the street because I've got 3 syringes stuck in my arm because I can't deal with my trauma and my life is imploded. Oh, would you guys please send me money on PayPal or something like that? Because I can't get through it because my rent is too high, because I'm too cracked out getting my drugs, because I refuse to go to therapy to deal. Let's act like adults, shall we? Sorry, we're ranting again. All right here. Sorry, I went off on the right here. Where are we? Okay, yeah, glad you share some difficult parts of trauma. Thank you, Greenlean. We're going to keep on sharing them, so stay tuned. Let's see, more votes for Arthur content here in Merlin. Okay, well, we may just drag out the pile then, and P-Y-L-E, the author, not a pile of books, although, you know, that can be deep too. Electric Castle System is saying, often feel ashamed of being angry, and anger makes us feel so freaking guilty. I'm having a hard time with that, because you were told it was wrong. Because all of the anger that you experienced at your abusers had no place to go, because you would be punished for it. So it turned inwards. We go into this, and oh Lord, I can't remember exactly which video it is. I think it might be Learning to Love Again, when we go more into, yeah, I think that's it, where we go into the trauma bonding. So yeah, that's exactly why you feel guilty. You feel guilty about being angry, and then you feel guilty about not being angry. They've got us in these stupid pre-programmed mental traps that we have to go, okay, wait, I'm feeling this, I'm reacting this way, and this is why I am entitled to my anger. I am entitled to feel these emotions. We're not entitled to let them spill out onto others and repeat the abuse that was laid upon us. But it's okay for us to reach out. It's okay for us to express them in a positive manner, as it were. And this doesn't mean that it can't be violent. Okay, one of the things that our therapist told us to deal with the anger, she said, and this was profound and it stuck with us, she said, anger is an action emotion. And when you short circuit that, when you don't actually take any action, it doesn't get relieved. It just turns back in on itself. So we've got like a lot of broken pallets and stuff in our backyard. And she said, the next time that you're feeling like this and it gets overwhelming, you hit that point, take action. Go out there, grab your sledgehammer, and start wailing the shit out of these pallets and break them up until you exhaust yourself, because you've completed the action emotion. And we've been trained not to do that. Things don't have thoughts, things don't have emotions, things aren't entitled to their feelings. Keep your mouth shut, your head down, and do what you're told. So trying to get in touch with those emotions can be extremely difficult, because you're fighting against an entire lifetime of pre-programming and gaslighting. So yeah, you have a right to your anger, and you have a right to feel it. You have a right to feel every damn emotion that runs through your head. Good or bad. They are your emotions, it's your story, it's your life. Take it. Okay, so, yeah, where were we? Yeah, so, Viola, yeah, own it. You have a right to own it. Okay, Digital Pyramid is saying, yes, sometimes it's also good to take a look into some studies, but to hear personal experience is also important. Thank you. Greenlean, I'm really glad you share how it's okay to be angry. In my late 20s, I started realizing how traumatic my childhood was. I've had so many people tell me to get over childhood trauma. No. No. Tell you what, come stick yourself in my head for 30 seconds and see the shit I went through and then tell me. No. Yeah, no, you don't get over it. You don't make it stronger. You're stuck with it for the rest of your life, and you have to learn to live with it and turn those negatives into positives the best you can. Unless they've been it, unless you've been in their shoes, unless you went through the kind of crap that we all have went through, it's just well-meaning platitudes that actually serve to devalue. I can't quite express the thought that's running. Anyway, okay, so let's see here. Yeah, it's okay to be angry, guys. Digital piano. Sorry, I am so slowly in writing. English is not your mother language. That's okay. Take your time. We're not in any hurry. Let's see. Roses is saying to Electric Castle System, it's important to remember that anger shows us where we have been hurt and look for what the root of that anger actually is. It helps to cleanse the guilt over that anger. Yeah, dead on. Listen to Roses. Wisdom there. Okay, and Easy Digital Piano, there's Russian and Ukrainian. Cool, excellent. Okay, let's see. 5 Piece of 9 is saying people not having YouTubes that talk about trauma, right? Primarily, our channel is strongly directed towards singlets that want to understand, and that is why the videos are strong. Yeah, and you did exactly what we suggested. You identified something that a need that was out there, and that your experience matched it. And we are so proud of you, really. 5, Cloud, everyone, so proud of you because you took that step. And we know it was scary. It was scary for us. Okay, Greenlean, I've cut off my family. It's been one of the best things for me. Although I'm a singlet, I've gained so much from watching your videos and feeling like I wasn't alone and trying to live after trauma. Thank you. And our channel is not just, it's a DID-based channel, yes, but we try to reach out to everyone who has been traumatized in one way or another, PTSD all the way down. It's just how it is because so much of it overlaps. I mean, you don't have to be a DID system to have been abused by a boyfriend or a girlfriend or a family member or something like that. And the abuse could just be emotional. We got enough of it. We thought that was the cause of our problems, was that we were emotionally abused. That we were aware of. We weren't aware of everything else. So we're glad that it's helping. That's why we say you're not alone, because you're not. That's millions of people have experienced this out here. Less people to the severity and degree that DID systems have. But if we're not the ones to pick up that light and go, hey, this is what it's really like, and when I say we, I'm talking about the community in general, nobody's going to do it. They trained us to live in silence. They wanted us to live in silence, to live in fear, to live in anguish, to live in guilt. So every time that we take a step and we say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore, we're winning instead of them. Remember that. The abuse may have ended ages ago, but the effects are still there, and just as strong and just as valid. Okay, so, sorry, I know we're kind of all over the place here. But yeah, keep talking amongst yourselves, please, yes. Okay, let's see, we're catching up. Yeah, Roses is giving some more great advice about dealing with the anger. It shows us where we've been hurt. Look for the root of that anger actually is. Yeah, and we've been doing a lot of this. Okay, I am reacting this way. Why am I reacting this way? Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see what we can do to change that behavior. I'm still going to feel it, but now we know where it's coming from. And you can then start to change it and cut those ties. So, Let's see here. Okay. Electric Castle System is saying, I'm terrified of exploring my anger, scared of hurting others physically. To be scared of losing control, I guess. Yes. Perfectly rational. What you're afraid of is you're going to become your abusers. And that's when you have to tell yourself, I'm not. I have a choice. This was done to me, but I have a choice whether or not I'm going to do this to others. DID systems have every right in the world to just stop. Dwell in the pain, dwell in the anger, dwell in the guilt. We have that right, but it's not healthy. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. And this took us a while to realize, was that we were still living in that darkness that they created for us, because that was all that we knew. It never occurred to us to step outside of that box until we actually realized that we were in the box and that we didn't have to be that way. And this is an ongoing, continual thing with us day by day. There is not a day that does not go by when at some point during the day we realize that we're reacting in some way, or we have a thought or something, and we're going, where did that come? Oh, God, yes. Click. Here's another piece of the trauma that is affecting our lives. And it's like an endless cascade. And it can be overwhelming. And especially dealing with those negative emotions. Anger. It's an action emotion. You're afraid of the actions that you're going to take. You're afraid that you're not going to be in control of those actions. We were. It's not an easy row to hoe. Sorry, farming metaphor. Our brain is a mishmash of things like that. So, back to it. We'll stop preaching and just going on here. 5 Peace of Mind. Some systems have said that our content helps them to see that they are not alone. Yeah, exactly. You're putting that out there, 5. Let's see. Clover recently found some music some of my alters were listening to. Very interesting, being that I'm the host. I didn't know I was losing any time. Just wanted to share that as it validated DID for me. Oh, we lose days. Literally, what was it? We thought it was Thursday and it was Friday, and we were like to our wife, what day is it? She's like, it's Friday, hon. We're like, oh, and she's like, lost another day. We're like, yeah. Or whoever will put, it's just 5 minutes here, a day there. It's just, this is why we made the time episode. And yeah, we could have actually went further down the rabbit hole on that, but didn't want to lose you guys. So yeah, what you're feeling, Viola, is perfectly natural. You don't want to become the thing that you hate. But you have a right to that anger, and you have a right to express it. Just find a way that is not damaging to others. And you won't have to worry about that. And I think this is one of the biggest, we think that this is one of the biggest things that systems may struggle with at the core, is we are deathly afraid of becoming our abusers. Of becoming exactly the things that made us the way we are and the things that we hate. And that may have been drilled into our heads by our abusers. We're often, you know what they say, we cover them. You're a thing. You're not worthwhile. You have no emotions. You're never going to do anything with your life. You're never going to go anywhere. You're never going to amount to anything. These are all the things that they stick into our heads. And they stick there. And they form the basis of our fears. Because we remember being that child with our file, yelling at us from 6 inches away from the face, telling us these nasty things, and then knowing that he's going to come into the room later on that night and rape us. You're afraid. You're afraid of becoming what you hate. But here's the bright side. The fact that you're worried about it, the fact that you're concerned about that, already means that you are far better than they ever were. And that you are far better in control of yourself than they ever were. And that the likelihood is that while you may have explosions and you may hurt people, you are not going to perpetuate the same kind of abuse that was levied on you. More than likely. Of course, there's going to be exceptions to every rule, depending upon where you're at on your journey and just the system. But don't be ashamed of that, because you're already better. Simply by worrying. You think they ever worried about it? So let's see here. Basic Burke DID questions time. Do you journal? Yes. Just Rose is doing her thing here. She's talking about journaling. We're going to go ahead and move on here. You guys go ahead and get the chat because Rose is full of great experience. They've been at this for more than 16 years. So we actually defer to them much of the time. They have cleared up so much for us. And just knowing that somebody else is going through the same thing, you have no idea how much that helps. Again, not alone. That's why we keep stressing that. Let's see here. Yeah, Maldon's saying, we never understood what get over it was ever meant to mean or what good it ever did, ever. Snapped at our dad a few years ago over that. 5 pieces of 9. Our system remained silent for 47 years and I will be silent no more. Cloud. Yes. Right there. We have a right to our voice. We have a right to our stories. And God damn it, we're going to tell it whether hell or high water. And if it helps some people along the way, so much better. Okay, let's see. Digital Piano. Seems like some of them work very hard to silence you all. I was commenting on drama and some very dubious channels were commenting on my videos and specific triggering content on their channels. Yeah, you read between our lines, Digital. You know what we're talking about and we know what you're talking about. And yes, but we keep our promises when we say that we've had our say on something that we will not bring it up again. And we won't. We may allude to it. Use it as, yeah. Well done. So yeah, we won't be silenced. Sorry. Send your fucking flying monkeys after us all you want. But we fell off that radar. But once, you know, and we keep saying, we don't bite. We're just not going to feed the trolls. We've been on the internet longer than some of you guys have been alive. Okay, we have been abused by professionals. Your pissant little histrionics and your flying monkeys aren't going to do shit. You're just not that important. Not you guys, but the troll people. Anyway, we'll get off that subject. But yeah, well spotted, Digital. And thank you for sticking with us after that. So let's see here. Okay, yeah, more advice from Clover and 5. Oh yeah, so God, what day is it even? Is one of the more obnoxious banal hells of this disorder. Oh, time is impossible to keep track of. And it's humiliating because you should be able to do this stuff easily. And it's like you're watching your cognitive ability leak out through your ears. And it's very frustrating. Okay, so Electric Castle said you hit the nail with being scared of becoming the same as our abusers. Ouch. Sorry. We truth. You know it's truth when it kicks you in the guts and makes you go, ooh, yeah. But truth is also a good thing. Truth is what's used to cut away all the bullshit and the dross and the self-delusion and the delusionment that other people have, because the truth is the truth. Trauma doesn't lie. So, yeah, so, yeah, we feel you, Theo. We feel you. Let's see. Do we ever worry about fusing, Clover? We're assuming that you're talking about us. No. We don't, because, again, this is just probably a unique to our system because we split so often and so early that we grew up thinking we were one being. We were already fused, as it were. We just thought that it was normal that everybody else had all these friends on the inside and that there were voices going in the back of your head all the time, talking with each other and arguing and playing music and every other day. We thought this was normal. And once we got diagnosed, it's like everybody went, I'm a person? And since then, we've been discovering our own identities, which were there all the time, but instead of thinking that they were just one person, now we're becoming accustomed to the fact that we're all different. Excuse me. So it's kind of in reverse. We're kind of like unfusing, if that makes any sense. But again, like with the episode that we just put up, the trauma locking, it's we are stuck within those spans of time with very little it's a deviation between them. We don't really age slide much. The only ones that would do it really would be John, Jack, and but Jack is now an adult. ANPEP, he's kind of a weird. Doesn't quite fit anywhere, but they're right. They're essentially, with along with Christopher D, they're their own cluster. So we haven't experienced any real age sliding in amongst them. But if it was going to occur, that would probably be the closest place, I guess. So yeah, it's just us, and all we can tell you is the way that we're working. So it's like, so no, we don't worry about fusing because we wouldn't lose anything. I don't think. It's just who we are. Yeah, Rosa is saying having a cell phone in your pocket can tell you what day it is was a flipping lifesaver. Yeah, no kidding. Okay, Clover's saying, I want the others to talk about the trauma with our therapist to heal, but I don't want them to fuse with me. Why are you thinking that one is exclusive to the other? Just because talking about the trauma and expressing it is not necessarily going to cause them to fuse. It's not like an automatic process, or at least to the best of our understanding. I mean, while Christopher hasn't expressed all of his trauma, he's expressed much of it, enough to at least feel comfortable coming out. But, sorry, we're hitting a cognitive thing, but that doesn't mean that he's going to fuse with the rest of us. It's like he and Susie play together, which was a mental gymnastics feat in and of itself. Never expected that, but just because you're expressing the trauma doesn't mean that you're going to fuse. And in fact, if you follow the theory of structural dissociation and the locking of the trauma onto the brain, which we keep going over again and again and again and again and again, because this is where the hard science lies, it may not happen. Because like us, your alters just simply may not, they're locked. They are that recording. Here's the VHS tape for 1975. So don't take it one step at a time, I guess is what we're saying. But again, this is, your mileage may vary. Maybe you will. Maybe that's a valid fear for you. But in our experience and talking with other systems, it doesn't mean an automatic fusion. So, Turtle System. Hey, good to see you. Starry Girl, hello, you made it. Been waiting too. Well, glad I made it. Love of being here. Well, glad to have you guys. Let's see. Clover saying YouTubers had me worried. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Five pieces is saying fusion is optional, dependent if the parts choose to or not to. At least that is the way it is. Our system of now about 24 of us. Yeah. So yeah, your mileage is going to vary between systems, but like she's saying, it's not an automatic thing. It's more of a choice, at least the way that we understand it. Yeah, Clover's saying, okay, because we have like 200 and I can't imagine all of us as one. You've never been that way, so how could you possibly imagine something that you've never actually experienced? Yeah, so it's overwhelming and causing me panic attacks. Roll with it. Turtle System, they have close to 140, so fusion may be close to impossible. We don't want to anyway. Yeah, and that's pretty much exactly the same way it is for us. There's not only the ability not to, but the will to, because to be honest, we're kind of enjoying finding out who we are now. And now that we're also coming to the realization that we are not going to be punished or abused for expressing ourselves as individuals. And that's still a very present fear. It's not logical, but it's there. So yeah. Rosa is saying, yeah, any fusion must be facilitated with consent from all parties involved, or else whatever results will not be a cohesive and sustainable entity. Yeah, exactly. Okay, Five Pieces is saying the body is between 61 and 65, so there's that. Okay, well, you got the crown then. Well, we've never seen you on camera, so of course we didn't know. But yeah, we will gladly give the crown of oldest YouTuber DID people. No one out there to you. There you go. You've got it now. Just teasing. So yeah, but at least the older folks are starting to get some, or older bodies are starting to get some representation out there. Not that we may have any more knowledge, but at least we're out there. Represent, man. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, Roses is talking about non-consensual fusions that didn't hold. Starry's girl is saying, yeah, they're always worried about people knowing about you not being a system. The masking is real. Yeah. Yeah. Though we've actually found out that, and actually I think it was Entropy System that did a video on this that just didn't seem to make sense to us at the time, but now it does, on alters, or maybe it was Multiplicity Me, I'm not sure. I think it was Entropy System, because we mainly watched them on their alters impersonating them. In ordinary everyday life, like say an A and P is supposed to be doing something, and all of a sudden an EP is, it's like maybe whoever's up front isn't quite up front, or this gets a little nebulous. But we have now identified several points in our life where, okay, this makes sense now, because this EAPP or this person was fronting, and this there's a lot of little bits in our background that are starting to fall into place because of that. So let's see. Turtle System saying we have a fear of expressing a lot because of trauma, but we are slowly getting there. Take your time. It's everybody's journey is different. One step at a time. You'll go forward, you'll go back, you'll go forward, you'll go back, you'll stay static. Yeah. The point is doing it, overcoming that fear, and getting past that. And back in the late 80s, during the birth of the whole New Age movement, there was this catchphrase going around about seizing your personal power, which sounds like a cat poster kind of crap, but it actually does make sense. But it's kind of more akin to what's known as the spoon theory nowadays, where you only have so much energy and you choose to give it to certain tasks or people or things like that. Personal power is your own sense of self-worth, your own, I don't have to do this, or I choose to do that. These are fundamental choices that were taken away from us when we were abused and put into place. We had no choice. So now the idea of having a choice is very confusing and strange and whatnot. So we are literally learning as systems to take our personal power back and stop giving it away, bleeding yourself dry to people who just kind of suck off of you, are only interested in their own selves. For example, the kind of thing that we were talking about at the very beginning of the stream. Those of you who came in late, you might want to rewatch this one. So, that's all. We'll get into that. Let's see here. So, Clover says, that makes sense because we've tried to fuse, but it does not hold, and then it makes some of us feel like failures. Yeah, exactly. No expectations. 5 pieces, 9, whoop whoop, yeah. Represent. Masking is such a mood. Yes, absolutely. Malden says they're getting rather tired. Think they need to go wind down for some sleep. Sending lots of hugs to everyone here. Much love to you all. Good night, Baldwin. Get some rest. Make sure to drink lots of water. And don't be a stranger. Drop us a comment every once in a while. Just let us know you're out there, okay? Because we do worry about you guys. And particularly you longer-term viewers. It's like we're kind of forging relationships here with you guys. So we care. Drop in. Let us know how you're going. As you can. It's not required. But we do worry. So go get some sleep, Baldwin. Take care. Be safe. All right? Oh, dear. I'm down to 15%. We'll go ahead and start. What time is it? Oh, it's 5:30 too. So, yeah, we're gonna have to go ahead and start closing it out. I'm sorry to you guys that just got here, but we'll go ahead. If you got questions or whatnot you want to talk to, we'll go on a little bit more here. But we are kind of getting a little hungry too. That's one of our worst things lately is we're not eating the way that we should. We're waiting until way too late to eat, and then we've got a binge eater late at night who will literally like blow through an entire bag of M&Ms or something like that and eat everything in the damn house. Bless you. And leave us to pay the consequences in the morning. So we're trying to be better about that. We're literally to the point where we have to like buy healthy snacks or stuff that they know that they don't exactly like, just simply so that we don't find an empty bag and wrappers near the bed in the morning. Oy. All right, so sorry, girl. It doesn't help that we live with the body's parents. They are interesting, to say the least. Yeah, we basically told you about our parents anyway. So yeah, we feel you. Hopefully you're not in an abusive situation. Sorry, if you can, get out as soon as you can. We assume that you're not, hopefully. Okay, let's see. Turtle system being autistic. The spoon thing makes a lot of sense, yeah. Okay, Clover. Oh, I have a really good question. Switching, does it feel confusing for any of you when it happens? Let me reread that. Does it feel confusing for any of you when it happens? It depends. If it's among the ANPs, it's not confusing. It's far more confusing for the EPs. John in particular, and we only know this secondhand because we have no communication with him. None at all. He's not even aware of us, but he will pop in and kind of shove us to the back. It's really tough to explain. I mean, we'll still be there, we'll be observing, but we'll be unable to reach him or affect anything. And basically, when he fronts, he is confused. He doesn't know where he's at. He's absolutely terrified. He will start shaking. He has what we call the 50-yard stare, which is just eyes not focusing on anything because he's just absolutely terrified. And any movement or any person who comes in is a threat. He thinks that he is still at work at one of the parties and is just waiting for the next mommy or daddy to pick him out to go play with. So he gets very confused. Christopher, he has a little bit of confusion. It takes him a few minutes to settle in, as it were, except when he wants to front, in which case it's like being in the path of a raging bull. I'm going to front whether you want to or not. And he just kind of forces his way through. Susie kind of does that as well. We're teaching them to be a little more gentle about that, but like trying to get a kid to do anything. So it can be confusing. It also depends upon what circumstances it's under. When we get sick, it's like a rotating circus of people through the front. It's unfortunately most of the ANPs hide and leave the EPs to deal with the sick body. So it can be very difficult to tell who exactly is fronting at what time, and we may have more than one person up front. So it gets really kind of wiggity whack. So I hope that answers your question. So it depends upon whether or not it's organic or not, I guess. Let's see here. Starry Girl wants to know, does anyone like the old show Voltron? Which one? The original Voltron from our era, or the remake, which actually is just as good, and if not a little bit better. But yeah, we were Voltron fans way back in the day. Black Lion for the win, man. Mm-hmm. And yeah. We were watching anime long time ago as the FS1, the F1S. Well, it's out of camera range here, but our Macross fighter there shows. Let's see here. Robotech. Macross. Yeah, I know. I know that Robotech is the American bastardization caused by Harmony Code of the Macross universe, which is very extended. Thank you. We know our anime. Okay, so. But yeah, totally dig on that. Yeah, if you haven't seen the reboot yet, definitely check it out because it's actually really good. I was very surprised. For that matter, the reboot of She-Ra, well worth checking out. That was excellent, an excellent reboot. We were very surprised at that because we were hearing like all the buzz. It's like, oh yeah, the show's really good, you know, they give good representation and whatnot. We're like, but it's She-Ra, come on. But then we tried it, and sure enough, it's actually a great show. Dragon Prince, if you guys haven't seen that one, that's another good one. Okay, so back to it. Let's see. Yeah, Voltron rock. Let's see. We're going back and forth. You guys are talking. So, Turtle System says they're trying to move out of the parents because it's because it's toxic and triggering some days. Okay, most days. Yeah, that can be a tough transition to make. But you have to do what's right for you. Okay, so 5 Pieces of 9 says that there were times initially that it could take days to switch. It was odd. We think we know what you're talking about there. And yeah, those are the real unpleasant days when you're just completely unfocused. And it's just like moving through it's being alive hurts. It's like literally existing hurts on levels that you can't even begin to describe. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Lots of different opinions about that too with moving. Switching is very confusing for us too. Turtle Systems is saying, okay, yeah. 5 Pieces of 9 saying they put me in the closet, which then was dark, and then all time stops for me. Yeah. We actually use closet as refuge. Yeah. Christopher did some extended closet hiding. There's a reason why our safe space is in the closet now. Because it's the only way that he can feel secure sometimes. Back up against the wall, hidden in the closet, underneath the coats. You'd be surprised the places that an adult body will still fit. Under a telephone table is not so much good, but yeah, anyway. Let's see here. So, yeah. Crap switchy at the moment. It's okay. 5. Relax. In that case, you have an original Voltron mech thing. Would I like it? Or anyone else? Here we're coming back to that old P.O. box thing. But I don't care about the legal terms of my tablet. Go away. Samsung. It's like there's always a pop-up. We'd like to inform you of this. We'd like to inform you of that. I just like to use my device. Thank you very much. So yeah, I mean, we could, when we get the P.O. box, feel free to send it along. Otherwise, you might want to take it like to or eBay it or something. Some of those old toys can be worth quite a bit. So check that out. I mean, unless it's like a near and dear thing, we get those things that you have to have. But yeah, systems can be very. I want my possessions because this is my world. These are the things I can depend upon. Don't take them away from me. So yeah, but yeah, mechs are. We've always loved mechs. Well, let's see. Black and white TV back in the day. Yep, same thing here. Watching the Waltons. Black and white TV with the antenna with the foil on it. Absolutely, yeah. See, you poor millennials and people born before broadcast TV, you will never know the joy of trying to tune in a local TV station using a broken antenna and tinfoil and possibly replacing it with a coat hanger. And standing just right with one finger on it because for whatever reason when you touch it it pulls in the signal better and when you let go it goes to fuzz again. I stayed we would watch more than one episode of Doctor Who just simply holding on to the damn antenna to get the proper reception. Yeah, it was much more unreliable tech back then. Which has actually been one of the cool things because we've gotten to witness basically the whole birth of modern technology from the analog to the digital age. But yeah, if the fate of the world ever depends upon coding an Apple II Plus using the original BASIC language, we're your guy to call. Okay, so let's see here. Talking back and forth, seen every single episode of that I Love Lucy. Yeah. There are a variety of different shows. Okay, let's get it because we're trying to wrap this. Okay, same here. Also have a kid who's Stack is saying, "Hey Stack, thanks for poking your nose out. I love the little kitty cat. That's cute." We used to have one that looked just like that. Same here. Have a kid who hides in the closet. He's improving though and feels much safer and more frequently now. Yeah, it's a slow process. Christopher is still really skittish. He's finally gotten to the point where the ladies in the house he's not afraid of, but he won't go anywhere near the guys. Nope. No. Men are dangerous to him, yeah, and to most of us actually. Let's see here. 5, do you post videos too? Yes, she does, absolutely. Turtle System says they have an alter who constantly hides inside and outside. Yeah. Alter also closet in the closet. It's okay. A lot of switchy people in here today. That's cool. I know, but I want someone who I know. Starry Girl is saying I know, but I want someone who I know will like it to get it. Okay, understood. All right, we will work on the PO box thing. Okay, there's we can't really afford it right now. Finances are kind of tight. But we and the logistical things we were talking about earlier on, in revealing our state and eventually the city and whatnot, we're not entirely comfortable with that. So hold that thought, Starry Girl. Okay. Thank you though. We deeply appreciate that. The littles are collecting toys at a substantially accelerated rate, though. We're really having to thin them out. Yeah, oddly, only the ones that they played with back then. It's like we found the Lincoln logs at Goodwill not long ago. We posted on our Instagram, and we were like, oh, yes! It's like now we need some Tinker toys, and we basically got all of the childhood toys for the up to about Christopher D. and then John Jack Mimi. The core group of littles. So, in order to make them feel more comfortable when they front, we are trying to, because they are locked in that slice of time, in order to make them feel more comfortable, we have been deliberately getting like Disney movies that during that point in time, because they will remove or recognize that and associate with it. The toys that they played with, it's like even when Christopher fronts and he's playing, or Susie's playing, not so much Susie, but with Christopher, the lighting has to be very subdued. He does not like bright lights, and you wonder why. So yeah, just the little accommodations that you can make to make them feel more at home in themselves and more comfortable. For him, it's always going to be 1972 to 1974. Before Susie comes in, but he doesn't look at it that way. It's this sound is familiar, this scent is familiar, this light level is familiar, this movie is familiar, this toy is familiar. Yeah, I'm not sure if we had a point. Anyway. So yeah, Starry Girl, thank you. We will see if we can take you up on that. Let's see, Clover and Fiber talking about some DOS prompt to save the world. Call me. Yeah. We can still program in Apple Basic, Apple Extended. DOS, everything up to, was it 3.1 or was it 4.0? That was the last one before Windows 95 came in. No, it was Windows 3.1. That introduced the GUI, the graphical user interface, or the GUI. Yeah. Oh man, 5. We have been around a long time, haven't we? But yeah, yeah, Starry Girl. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and message us on Instagram. Any of you guys, the best way to get a hold of us is on Instagram. We may not respond immediately, but we will always respond with at least a heart or something. To let you know that we got your messages. So yeah, absolutely, reach out to us. Yeah, just be aware. There's we deal with a lot when we're not on camera, and there may be a time delay in responding. So if we don't get back to you for a day, maybe 2 or so, don't be offended. It's not the word. What the hell do they call it? Ghosting. I think that's the term for it. It's just that we're busy and we haven't sat down, or the alter that is responsible for responding has not seen the thing yet. Fortunately, we don't experience a lot of that, but yeah, so just keep that in mind. But thank you, Starry Girl. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Clover, Switchy, sorry, think they should head out. Okay, it's okay. Go to your level. Have a good night. Thank you for dropping in. We always look forward to seeing you. So yeah, go self-care. Everybody that me needs to. Yeah, Orchid, same thing. Lincoln Logs, yes. Now, make sure it's okay, Orchid, with your older brothers and sisters on the inside that you're out right now, okay? You need to ask permission. We're happy to talk with you, but make sure that you're not breaking the rules, okay? Gotta be thoughtful. But yes, Lincoln Logs, they're great. Time for your meat Phoenix or a couple of known safe energy. Okay, yeah, definitely. Okay, so bye, Clover. Take care. 7.0, really? Wow, okay, we must have switched over to Windows then, right around the 5 or the 6 series. I didn't know it went that far forward. Wow. Okay. Huh. Yeah, because it took us forever to get used to Windows. Okay, Starry Girl says out of the house at the moment. Okay, that's cool. They say it's okay. Okay, poor kid, no problem. We're just making sure, hon, all right? So we all got to be thoughtful of everybody else. Okay, it is now 5:45, and we need to eat. So unfortunately, we are going to have to go ahead and close up the stream. We're sorry for you guys that came in at the last minute. As we were explaining earlier on, especially for our overseas folks, we're going to go ahead and try doing a late night live stream, like very late night live stream on Friday nights, and then doing the Saturday one the next over, so that we're catching both sides of the hemisphere here, as it were, and so you guys don't have to stay up so late, and our U.S. folks, can tune in more. Anyway, we're probably going to do that next month. Okay, as far as the channel coming up, like I said, Percival is kicking around the idea of reading a new adults story. Of course, we still have 2 or 3 little stories to do. The 7 Postmen, I think we've got Scuffy the Tugboat, and one other I can't remember at the top for the moment, and the chest and the safe spaces right behind me, so I don't want to dig through it. We just did the time one, so I think we don't really have anything serious on our plate. Rosemary has been making some noises about coming back out and doing either some kitchen or cleaning tips. I don't know if you'd be into that. We've talked with Bootstraps about the idea of maybe doing like a DIY type of a thing, and he's like, yeah, like they're gonna want to watch me. So don't know. We've thrown it out there. If he wants to, he will. But nothing really firmed up at the moment, except for the little stories. If you guys have a topic suggestion for anything that you'd like us to cover, and we would love to do a Q&A, particularly like for the different altars. I know other channels have done these, but it does seem to like a great way to kind of get to know. If you guys will do that, do up some questions that you want answered, drop them in the comments or on our community page, or send them to us on Instagram, and we'll see if we can get maybe a dozen questions or so together and try to do like a co-con video montage type thing where they can speak to you directly, and maybe if we can, and maybe meet some of the ones that you haven't yet, like Nigel, the ones that aren't opposed to it. So that's basically where we're at and what we've got on tap. Let us know, hit us up with comments, suggestions, questions, whatever. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. We do read all the comments. All right, so let's check out any last questions here. 6.5 for sure. Man, thank you, Mr. Chris. Absolutely. We love you too, Orchid, okay? Percival says to play nice now, okay? And we'll have a new story for you real soon, okay? Okay, Turtle almost 9 p.m. here. We left the tugboat. Yep, we might do the tugboat ones. Okay, give us Boots reviews, Rambos. Hey Roses, do you see the middle finger that we're holding up for you right now? Oh my god. Bootstraps reviewing movies. Either that would be hilarious or it would be an unmitigated disaster. We'll pass it by them. That might become a thing. Oh boy, that could be brutal. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Okay, take care, Cloud and everyone. Absolutely. We love having you guys on the streams. Old Guys Collaborative, yeah. Okay, all right, guys. We're going to go ahead and call it quits. We've ran a little bit over here, and like I said, we are hungry. So it's great to see you guys. Thank you for tuning in to the live stream. Keep your eye out on the channel. Next thing will probably be the little stories. So you can let the littles know that. And don't forget, we've got all the little stories on a playlist. So if they're having a bad day or something, just go ahead and throw the playlist on, and it'll just run right through them. And even repeat if you put the repeat on for them. So that's always there as a resource for them. And like we were saying earlier, for you guys who aren't getting all the notifications, we found out there's a little bell icon down next to the subscribe button, and you have to click on that, and it gives you 3 different choices of like no notifications and some, and then all. So if you guys aren't getting notified of our new episodes or whatnot, check your settings there to make sure that's turned on. Because several of our subscriptions, they were just turned off and we didn't even know it was there. And we're like, why are we not seeing their new content? So be sure to check that out. All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and close it up. And as always, we take this opportunity to remind you, say it with us, you are loved, you are strong, and you're not alone. All right, guys? It's Chris, Data, the rest of us. Have a great night. Self-care. Take care. We'll see you guys next time. All right? Love to y'all. And my phone is literally at 5%, so perfect timing. All right, guys. We'll see you later.